Oh, and then it didn't have the thing. Brilliant. Ba-bum, ba-bum, bum. There we go. Well,
Oh boy. We've waited to do this video since August when so many contenders are not even an afterthought at this point. And now that we're at the end, I'm done with this season. Let's take it home. Seriously, I'm sick of this. This year has
get that
sucked
shit out of
in
here.
every way possible. Yeah,
Well, you're not happy with a lot of the winners. I feel like the nominees here and the stuff we're looking at, there's a lot of pretty good stuff here.
nominees are fine.
Like overall, I would say it was a good year.
It's not a good year necessarily for winners, but it's a good year for nominees. I agree with you.
Like I said, the only thing here I'm not that crazy about is Elvis. Everything else I either love or I think is fine.
Um, I don't like Triangle of Sadness. I'm indifferent to women talking. I'm on the fence about Tar, but I'm leaning more towards kind of thumbs in the middle. I hate everything, obviously. But everything else, I love The Fablemans. I love Banshees. I really enjoyed Top Gun. I love Elvis. Don't care. And I can honestly say, after literally just getting out of it like minutes ago, All Quiet on the Western Front is super solid. It's not Coda. That theater has the connotation that it was where I saw Coda. And Coda was the movie that I was kind of forgetting about for the season. And then I finally saw it and I was like, oh yeah, well, now that's being done. Oh yeah, I totally, like, I'm backing this movie 100% now. Not necessarily that way about All Quiet on the Western Front, but it's very enjoyable. It's a hard watch, honestly. It's very brutal. It is true war violence and the dooming Inception score. How you know bad things are about to happen, especially when Dr. Robotnik does the party at the end.
I mean, you missed
But yeah,
one film. The video game.
yeah, the less said about the
So it's about
overrated
50-50 then, at least in terms
video
of the
game
Big
movie, the
Ten.
better. Yeah, that sounds about right. Like most of the movies nominated for picture are things that I would rewatch and things I have watched more than once. And they're some of my favorite movies of the year. The other half of the list are movies that I wouldn't watch again if someone paid me. Surveys aren't worth that much. Um so yeah, this is the end. This is our 2023 Academy Awards prediction show. Begrudgingly, my name is Owen. Joining me as always, we have Ashley.
Yeah.
And we have AJ.
Yeah, I'm still out of sync, but I'm gonna hope most people are just listening to this rather than watching it. So as long as you can still hear me, um, I'm hoping we're good.
I will say that you kind of jump, for me at least watching on the iPhone, you kind of jump in and out of sync. Like the last thing you just said was completely in sync.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's that. So there you go.
This could also be something on my end because we all know how shitty my end is as well. So, like more
I
so.
found out that all of us are not impervious to this issue because I had my first problem during this season too. Usually Ashley's internet sucks. We know AJ's internet sucks. Now my internet sucks, but it wasn't that it sucked. It's just we had a storm that I couldn't control, and it just killed the entire internet. It almost killed the entire Popcast. Actually, it did kill the entire Popcast. Luckily, we got it back. Sorry about that video. I probably said some things I shouldn't have said, but most people didn't see that, so we're good. So before we get started, as always, we have a very lively chat room. It is 8:15 here on the East Coast, and we're going to start with Ashley's got some of it for starters because I wasn't able to get all of it because mine starts about 6:40. So, Ashley, take it away before we get started.
So, Spencer, I'll save your predictions for when we get to the categories for the bits. But, of course, the obligatory honorary Oscar to Pacific Heights and Frailty in there. So, the Josie starts off with personal preferences rather than the actual ones, for Sunday. So,
Sure.
for Josie, best editing. Well, Josie does say these could change. We've got 6 days. For editing, she has a poll of 10.5. Sound is Nope. Score is The Batman.
Nice.
Costumes is Pearl.
Nice.
Production design is Pinocchio. Please tell me you mean the Del Toro one.
That's the only one we talk about here. Everybody knows that.
I mean, if it gets if the Disney Pinocchio gets a Razzie and the other one, that's gonna be funny. Cinematography for Nope.
Nice.
Adapted screenplay is toying between the two of Women Talking and Marcel the Shell with Shoes On.
Oh, nice for Marcel. I like that.
Supporting actor, got redacted, so I don't know what happened. Nobody gets supporting actor. Supporting actress Kerry Condon for Banshees. Original spleen.
Take a shot.
Hang on.
Yeah. Major.
If only that was vodka. I'd splash it in a kid's face. Original screenplay to piss off Owen. I'm toying between Everything Everywhere and Triangle of Sadness.
God, that's a Hitler-Stalin argument right there, sir. Josie, but you love both of those movies, so I totally get it.
Best lead actress Mia Goth for Pearl. Best lead actor Brendan Fraser for Durr. Is that the sequel to Tar? Best director Todd Field for Tar. Best love story Bones and All. Best picture apparently has been ignored. Best action adventure blockbuster. I've gone with Avatar, Batman, Nope, RRR, and Top Gun Maverick. I don't know which to pick.
I love the love for Nope.
Acting ensemble, Triangle of Sadness. Best inspirational movie. I'd be lying if I didn't pick Everything Everywhere, but logic would say Fabelmans, considering how it's about Spielberg's self-actualization.
I like that.
I'm very curious about the anonymous ballots, though they can be deceptive.
Yeah, they're usually deceptive.
as soon as I saw a thing about saying that the anonymous ballots basically kind of fuck over the animated feature Oscar, the various YouTube videos on that, where it's like a lot of them are like, I don't watch these movies, but my 7-year-old kids do, hence why I go for that one, which is why the DreamWorks and the Pixar stuff usually sort of wins out in the end, because they don't actually see the films themselves, because they have no obligatory status to, unlike in other categories. Which sort of doesn't help. So, the Oscars flashback. This is the 87-88 season. I'll be starting off and then Owen will pick up because that's where it notes is. Note, when I do these, I want to know, 1, your thoughts on the films, and 2, if you want to keep the winners or pick another one. So for supporting actress, we've got Olympia Dukakis for Moonstruck. The other nominees being Anna Archer for Fatal Attraction, Norma Orlando Gabby for True Story, Anne Southern for Whales of August, and Anne Ramsey for Throw Mama from the Train.
Nice.
I want to say Dukakis is the rightful winner, but I really love Ramsey too, especially when like I guess she was notorious for being like really sweet in real life, which makes her parts in like Thrown from the Train and the Goonies even funnier. I might have gone with Ramsey, but Dukakis is a fine winner.
This is the 50th from 88.
I think so, yeah.
The 88 ceremony for 87 movies.
What was the category again?
Supporting actress.
Da, 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 da. I think I'd go with Ramsey.
I mean, it makes sense.
Oh, no.
No, something fell down and needs to reach it. I've seen Moonstruck, Fatal Attraction, and Throw Mama from a Train. I prefer Moonstruck and Fatal Attraction over Throw Mama. Amazes me that got an Oscar nomination, but you know, there's a lot of nominations where I'm like, what? But I think Moonstruck was probably the right winner there. For supporting actor, Sean Connery for What Are You Prepared to Do? AKA The Untouchables. The other nominees were Denzel for Cry Freedom, Vincent Gardenia for Moonstruck, Albert Brooks for Broadcast News, and Morgan Freeman for Street Smart.
That's a great lineup.
Yeah, I think I've seen all bar Street Smart, but I sort of want to because it's Morgan Freeman. I need to catch up on it. I just about edge it to Connery for probably should have won. Well, it's close probably with Brooks.
Yeah, I think that's how I got it narrowed down. Connery's fucking great in The Untouchables. You can call it a career win, but he's great in The Untouchables. I'd probably stick with that, but yeah, like you, Brooks is definitely my close second.
And I'm gonna say Super Dave's brother. Rest in peace.
Yeah, just Brooks just for the sweating scene would be reasonable.
He's Super Dave's brother. That's all I need. And that's before I realized how brilliant broadcast news really is.
Costumes went to The Last Emperor. The other nods being Maurice, Empire of the Sun, The Dead, the John Huston film based off the James Joyce story, and The Untouchables. I'd probably keep it with Last Emperor, but Empire of the Sun would be pretty close because, of course, a lot of that was sort of Gandhi-esque in that it wasn't many, it was all extras, so you've got to costume them and everything. So
yeah, Last Emperors would be the most elaborate. That's pretty much the best way I can look at costumes.
Yeah.
That's the only way I know how to really.
I'm going with The Untouchables.
Nice.
Next.
And then we get to makeup.
Makeup went to Harry and the Hendersons. And it beat Happy New Year, which was the only other thing nominated.
I don't even know what Happy New Year is. Also.
Harry and the Hendersons is a crime comedy starring Peter Falk.
Oh, interesting.
So he basically got typecast as Columbo years before Columbo happened. Brilliance.
Yeah, I love that Harry and the Hendersons is an Oscar-winning movie, so I'll stick by that anyway.
Oh God, yes. I used to watch that movie all the time.
I
even watched the Fox TV series. There was one season Fox TV series based on Harry and the Hendersons that I remember watching when I was a kid.
Oh, it was Murder by Death. That was the other one that I was thinking of Peter Falk being sort of a whodunit murder mystery style thing.
All right. So Art Deco, Set Deco went to Last Emperor, beating Hope and Glory, Empire of the Sun, Untouchables, and Radio Days. 1, 2, 3.
I'll just stick with Last Emperor, probably.
I'd agree. Seen all of those, though.
I'm going with The Untouchables. Score went to Last Emperor, beating Empire of the Sun, and Witches of Eastwick for John Williams. Cry Freedom and Morricone for The Untouchables. I'm going to go with Morricone here.
I should go with Morricone, but I love too much that David Byrne is an Oscar winner, so I have to say the Last Emperor.
It might happen again. Okay, it's not for the film, but Owen wants it to be.
I'm okay with him performing.
Yeah.
But that's all I need to see. Wow. Speaking of... speaking of things that are going to hit me the wrong way, original song went to Time of My Life. Beat Cry Freedom, Princess Bride, Storybook Love, Shakedown, which I really enjoyed from Beverly Hills Cop 3, and Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now from Mannequin. That's a hell of a lineup.
Ooh.
That's a good song lineup, AJ.
Fuck. Well, I really like The Winner, especially in the context of the movie.
I mean, I'd be biased. I'm biased as hell when it comes to that song for good reason.
But like I said, I think Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now is my favorite song in that lineup, even though I fucking hate Mannequin.
Yeah, huh?
But for the context of the movie, I would say Time of My Life was the right choice. Because I think Nothing's Gonna Stop Us Now was just a credit song.
Yeah, you're getting ahead of yourself, ironically enough, because who did Nothing Gonna Stop Us Now? Diane Warren did music and lyrics.
Ah.
So there is another movie that you dislike that was nominated from Diane Warren's filmography. We'll get there. Bob Seger being an Oscar nominee makes me happy. Shakedown's a fun song anyway, especially in the context of Beverly Hills Cop 2. But yeah, I mean, come on. Duh, it's Silver Linings Playbook. It's one of the best songs of that genre when it came out for Dirty Dancing, and Silver Linings Playbook made it work so well. Time of My Life, obviously. There's no other answer.
Was it in Silver Linings Playbook?
Yeah? It's the dance at the end.
Oh, okay.
Because we do the lift gimmick.
I remember the scene. I don't remember that being the song.
Yeah, it certainly is. We can do the lift gimmick. Added a sound went to Last Emperor over Empire of the Sun, Lethal Weapon, RoboCop, and Witches of Eastwick. That's an interesting lineup.
I would probably say RoboCop.
Lethal Weapon.
Yeah. I'm tempted to go more towards the action things like Lethal Weapon and RoboCop rather than Last Emperor.
Speaking of Last Emperor, it won editing. God, it won like everything. Beat Broadcast News, Empire of the Sun, Fatal Attraction, and RoboCop. I want Broadcast News on this one.
Yeah, because Broadcast News had the scene where they're all working together, where Brooks is on the phone and he's doing the report and she's in his. I'll go based on that scene alone.
Between either that or Fatal Attraction for me, not sure which.
Fatal Attraction's good nod too. Cinematography, Last Emperor went beating Broadcast News, Empire of the Sun, Hope and Glory, and Matewan.
Empire of the Sun, man.
Probably Empire of the Sun in this.
Yeah, I'd probably go with. It's close between that and Last Emperor because that's probably the strongest thing that Last Emperor has.
Adapted went to Last Emperor, beating Full Metal Jacket, The Dead, Fatal Attraction, My Life as a Dog. Full Metal Jacket, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Original to Moonstruck, beating Broadcast News, Au revoir les enfants, Radio Days, and Hope and Glory. Broadcast News. But Moonstruck is good.
God. I might have to stick with Moonstruck, but Broadcast News is close.
Yeah. I'll stick with Broadcast News, but again, it's that and Moonstruck sort of on a coin toss.
RoboCop did win Special Achievement Award for Sound Effects Editing.
Oh, good.
Sheriff Actress, beating Holly Hunter, Sally Kirkland, Glenn Close, and Meryl Streep. Glenn Close is so good in Fatal Attraction. I have to go with her.
Yeah, I love Cher, but Close was iconic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of iconic, Michael Douglas, one actor, being Marcello Mastroianni for Dark Eyes, William Hurt for Broadcast News, Nicholson for Ironweed, and Robin Williams for Good Morning View. Ooh, Williams is the only option I have other than Douglas.
I would want to say Williams based on the fact that Douglas is in the wrong category. Gordon Gekko's has a supporting performance.
I'm going to go with Williams here.
Yeah, I'd probably edge it between him and Hurt, I'd say.
Because I love that win for Douglas, but he really should have been in support.
Yes. Director went to Bertolucci for Last Emperor, beating John Borman for Hope and Glory, Jewison for Moonstruck, Adrian Lynn for Fatal Attraction, and Hallstrom for My Life as a Dog. Adrian Lynn.
I might have to say line also.
I don't know. I'll stick with Bertolucci on that one.
And to the shock of no one, Best Picture went to The Last Emperor. Wow, this seems like you did this on purpose, Josie. Because there is a movie that's winning everything.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
Literally all at once.
Shoot. Lineup was identical to director, except for Broadcast News replacing My Life as a Dog. My answer is Broadcast News.
Fatal Attraction is the one I rewatched the most, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything objective.
Accurate.
Maybe it's Fatal Attraction or Broadcast News. I respect The Last Emperor, but it's not something I go back to very often.
I'm trying to remember, is Hope and Glory like the crap one that eventually got like considered good like now?
I've always liked Hope and Glory. I don't know.
There was one Borman though everyone was like, what the shit? Was it just because it lost to The Last Emperor and everything at the Oscars? Is that why people said it was crap? I'd probably just about edge it to Fatal Attraction. Well, I do like Last Emperor. I don't think it should have got as much as it did, but...
Yeah, I said Fatal Attraction and Broadcast News. I don't want to downplay that I fucking love Moonstruck.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, we continue. Going over these nominations, Josie continues, I think in a field of 10, the others would have been Empire of the Sun, My Life as a Dog, The Untouchables, Cry Freedom, and Au revoir, Les Enfants, or Full Metal Jacket.
Looks about alright on paper.
Surprise, Good Morning Vietnam wasn't an original screenplay. Me too. Spencer Reed's personal winners of the year. Best Picture, The Quiet Girl. Director was Atayski, with Steven Spielberg for Fabelmans and Sarah Polley for Women Talking. Paul Mescal won Best Actor for After Sun. Michelle Yeoh won Best Actress, because of course she did. But she tied with Taylor Russell from Bones and All. So, thank you, Spencer. Barry Keoghan won Supporting Actor. Carrie Condon won Supporting Actress. Best Original Screenplay went to Martin McDonagh. Like it should. We'll get there. Best Adapted went to Sarah Polley. Editing went to the overrated Multiverse movie. Cinematography went to The Quiet Girl. Costume design went to Mrs. Harris. Yes. Makeup went to Elvis. Best sound went to the overrated water-based animated video game movie. And The Batman. So it was a tie. Production design went to The Fabelmans. Visual effects was a tie between The Batman and Flight of Passage, the movie. What are some of your favorite documentaries from the last 5 or so years?
Well, they would be Honeyland would be up there. They would be Oscar movies or Oscar contenders because that's pretty much the only time I watch documentary.
Insane. I gotta look at the Oscar lineup and see where I can go there because I'd have great answers if we were talking about when we first started doing this back in the long ago in the way before times, because I actually liked a lot of those things. Now I can't really watch them anymore because they don't come close. The only one I got this year was Moon Age Daydream. So so basically his qualification is 2019 till now.
Okay. 2019 movies or the ceremony?
The documentaries from 2019 till now. I can honestly say I have not seen any of these. So I can't. Far
and away, my favorite was Honeyland of the last up to then.
Yeah. Ashley, you have an answer?
I mean, Apollo 11 is really good. Dissident. No, Collective. Sorry, that's the one I was thinking of from a few years back. Flea's really good. Summer of Soul's really good. Navalny's good from this year. Moon Age Day.
Yeah.
To be fair, all 5 of the ones from this year are sort of ones that I really rate. And then, also Mole Agent that I managed to catch up with sort of after the fact when it got shown over here. That's a really that's a documentary where I didn't know where it was going. And I'm pleased it went where it was going, because it wasn't something that I wasn't truly expecting. And it became a different documentary in that respect.
Also, ones that were shortlisted this year that didn't make it. Descendant was really good. Last Flight Home was really powerful, and Hallelujah, the Leonard Cohen documentary, I really loved.
Brian says Honeyland, Crip Camp, My Octopus Teacher, and Flea.
Yeah, Crip Camp's a good mention too.
What makes a good documentary, says Spencer?
Okay. I noticed this when I was watching A House Made of Splinters. A House Made of Splinters is really good, but something I've noticed that I have like when I say I only watch documentaries during award season, I have trouble getting into documentaries. I guess because I've gotten too cynical.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many documentaries feel a little manufactured now.
Yeah.
Like A House Made of Splinters is really good, but a lot of stuff that seems like it's so intimate in the moment. I remember there's a camera crew surrounding everything, and it feels very fake. And when the way the kids talk feels like a script. It does not feel like, unless there's something lost in translation with the subtitles, which could be. Like they're just saying, like, here's a rough estimate of what's being said.
Mm.
Everything sounds a little too profound to have been said by a child, like off the top of their head. So there's a lot of, so if a documentary just doesn't feel fake, which honestly I feel like is getting more and more rare, but they also need to not feel like you're in school. Like be informative without like being life draining and like soul sucking. That's the best I can do.
For me, sort of the best documentaries are the ones that can hook people that have no bloody interest in the stuff. Like, not many people like Formula One, but they like Senna. Not everybody is into sort of music of the past 20 years, but they really like Amy. To some extent, you did have that with Diego Maradona for football to a limited extent. But then other times it's sort of like just being able to capture those right sort of things, like, you know, Free Solo, or even get the sort of stories that you don't expect, as long as you don't know anything about them, like Three Identical Strangers or the Mole Hunt and things like that. That's the sort of things. There isn't as much with this year's sort of contenders on that front, to some extent, mainly because, well, maybe Fire of Love to some extent, but the rest, it's sort of like you basically, you know, all the Beauty and the Bloodshed sort of lays out on the table what the deal with that is, but it's enough of a story because it's telling something that sort of needs to sort of be put out there and made awareness of that, which I think is also the right thing. You need to get at the right point where it's like, this is when people need to know about this, you know, rather than sort of brush it under the carpet. I think that's why Summer of Soul did so well last year, not just because of Questlove being Questlove, because that itself went under the radar and was thought lost to time. Like The Amazing Grace, I really rate that, even though it's basically a concert movie. But it's mainly because We thought the footage was lost for 45 years, and the estate of Aretha Franklin were being crap when she was alive. And it was only in her death that was like, now we'll push it out now. Oh, wait, can we make money off this?
And some people might find this ironic, given that this is an Oscar prediction video. But my PSA to documentaries would be stay on topic. There's a lot of documentaries go on tangents that are completely unrelated, and that's not necessary most of the time. Sometimes it comes back around, but yeah.
All right, makes sense. Spencer asked, favorite documentary short subject?
That's not a question I know off the top of my head.
He has a direct question for you, actually, AJ. And I know the answer to this question, but I'm curious to see what will be revealed here on the podcast. First off, Spencer starts off with Emily Blunt was looking damn good at the SAGs.
Yeah. I mean, as usual. I mean,
Yeah. I knew it was going there.
Have you written any projects with her in mind?
3.
There's no need to elaborate.
Every one of them's a completely different role, too.
Have you ever thought about releasing your products to be read? I would love to read a script from you.
It's crossed my mind, but I wouldn't know how to go about it safely.
That's fair.
I'd basically be surrendering something to the public domain in any way.
That's fair.
Which we've seen could work against me, since it may or may not have already. But
heck, it did in one way, and it also did it in a way that people did something that didn't even see the light of day for anybody except for me has access to, that somehow found its way on the big screen.
yeah, because remember, I can't blame him because nobody saw it. Nobody saw my script. It never saw the light of day. But I kind of wrote Halloween Kills as well.
That is the correct statement.
I mean, mine was so much better. Let me tell you, mine was so much better.
A billion times better.
I'm confident in saying that.
This is funny because we were talking about this on the way, because I called AJ on the way home because it just got done raining, and I kind of, when you're on the phone, obviously you have run less of a chance of getting jumped when you're walking home by yourself, especially in the dark. So we kind of talked about this a little bit, and I want to get the panel's thoughts on it. Spencer asked, is your opinion on Coda changed a year later for the better or worse in a year?
We kind of talked about that before when I said that I feel like it's going to age really well, because I feel like it would have been this big, huge crowd pleaser if it had gotten a good theatrical release.
Totally.
And we made the comparison, it could have been My Big Fat Greek Wedding of its era, if it got a real release. So yeah, I think of it fondly, and like I said, I feel like the more it goes on, the more people, it'll be something that people have to discover, because nobody I know fucking has Apple, and that's the only way you can see it, is if you have the streaming service that like the least amount of people have.
That's why I'm so annoyed. The trailer for Ghosted, the new project from Ana de Armas and Chris Evans, the trailer went live today, and it has promise, and then I realised it's Dexter Fletcher directing. And a combination of the writers from the Deadpool stuff, but then also the Spider-Man films. So it's a not Marvel movie.
So yeah, Coda needs a physical release because it's the picture winner, and I think it could have a really nice widespread love. And The Tragedy of Macbeth needs a Blu-ray release. So Apple, please stop fucking holding your movies hostage. Like, get them out.
Stop making them the mystery film at Regal. We've already rang that bell too many times. Even though Champions is an Apple, and that's what the mystery movie was in February.
When people figured it out after Spirited, I think they went to another distributor.
Yep. I love Coda. And I was talking to AJ about it. I have so many fond memories of Coda. The fact that it's the movie I kind of like, again, kind of pushed to the back burner. And then when I finally saw it, I was like, yeah, I see what everybody thinks about this. As a matter of fact, I'm completely fine with it winning everything because that's what it should do. And it won the ones it was nominated for, and that was the end of it. So technically, it won everything it was nominated for, so that's good. Spencer asked about Nomadland. Think you have to be in the pandemic to appreciate the subtlety of the film. Doesn't work as well the farther away from 2020 you get. I still can see the fact that Nomadland was basically a documentary that forced its way into winning Best Picture, and I'm not happy with its win in any way, shape, or form. And I'm not happy with McDormand's win either, for obvious reasons. If you remember following along for that season.
Been able to put my finger on why I'm so indifferent towards Nomadland, but I think he just nailed it there. I'd never really thought about it that way. That's like a very, very 2020 thing.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like the fact that there's like artists that have created songs that are talking about the pandemic and wearing your mask, and that has aged oh so well, especially like years later when they're like, this happened? Oh yeah, it did. Because our kids' are going to talk about the pandemic because it's going to be in history books. We literally were a part of history, but
it's
people want to forget about it, obviously.
And it's interesting how fitting Nomadland feels for that area of time, because isn't Nomadland set in like 2012?
I couldn't tell. It looked the same to me regardless.
Yeah, because the movie theater she walks by has a marquee for the first Avengers movie.
That's right, it does. Yeah, good point. Real quick, a couple questions here. You could put your script on the Discord, says Parsnip Burger. Only Popcasters would see it if the Discord is available yet. Discord will be available very soon. Ashley should have had it done by now, but I have a feeling that life got in the way.
My aim is to try and have it up either Friday or Saturday, so you have somewhere if you wanted to hang out as a group to chat, rather than in the sort of the live stream. To chat Oscars and all that stuff there then, rather than just have us go through a lot of the stuff, because I'll make sure to bring up anything that, well, I can't. Fuck. Because I'm screen capturing Discord.
Excuse me, right?
Oh, wait! I can use the tablet. Second screen experience. I can look at it that way. I worked it out on the fly.
And we don't forget, we got a QA show the day after the Oscars. So, I mean, obviously we can ask questions on that show, too. So, after we recap the show itself. Parsnip Burger says, I think Drive My Car, Power of the Dog would have aged well. Doom would have been divisive because I think a better one would come later.
What usually happens is a movie this is what I said about The Fabelmans, too. A movie not winning Best Picture seems to be the best thing that could happen to it, because as soon as a movie wins Picture, everybody wants to jump on it for being overrated.
Hi, Green Book. Hi, Crash. The really good examples right off the top.
I think the only movie that seems more or less oh god, what's the word I'm looking for? Impervious. The only movie that seemed impervious to that was Parasite.
Parasite. Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
I would say Moonlight also, but Moonlight won Picture in such an unconventional way.
Yeah.
I think Drive My Car. I really liked Drive My Car the second time I saw it too. So, I feel that it might be a movie that may turn off some people that don't like the runtime. But nowadays, that there's people that are going to watch The Rings for 4 hours, so have fun with that. I think Power of the Dog would be enjoyable again, because it was better. For me, it was better the second time. Brian brings up 12 Years a Slave. That's a hard watch anyway, Brian, and not because it's a bad movie. It's just because it's so brutal to watch.
Well, the great thing about Power of the Dog is that it's so layered. Just even not just does it work over time thing, but just in general rewatches themselves make the Power of the Dog even better.
You learn more about the intricacies of the story the more you watch it. You learn more facets that you didn't see the previous watch. Yeah. And that's what I got out of Power of the Dog too. Liked it better this time. So I'm trying to make sure I cover everything, and so yeah, you completely like kayfabe that question, which I don't blame you about putting your script on the Discord. That's kind of dangerous because you know.
Well, like I said, when Red Rocket came out, it pretty much made my Strawberry script worthless.
Yep.
But I have been told by other people that have read it that there's still a way I could rework it and salvage it.
As someone who has read Strawberry many times and the different versions of it, yes. Even though when I was watching the movie that you speak of, I did see a million different comparisons.
That's the thing that gets me still to this day, is I could get it if somebody repeated that plot, but that's her fucking name. It's so specific. I fucking hate you, Sean Baker. I know it was you. We're gonna do Godfather 2 right now. I know it was you, Sean. I knew it was you. You broke my heart.
Dang it. Okay, so Spencer Reed throws a. I guess we're gonna go into the Marvel world a little bit because we're kind of doing a little bit of what if.
Yeah, multiverse sort of. I don't multiverse.
That word is banned from this podcast moving forward.
I want to make sure
saying that word anymore.
I want to make sure this doesn't turn into our personal lineup video, because when we get to the predictions, we're gonna do that the way we would. But I just remember. People were getting really antsy and really pissy at the end of our personal lineups video because of how late we were. I just want to make sure that doesn't happen. I'm good to go for however. Yeah. I don't really give a fuck. But
we're good on time because there's a reason why I took off both. I took off Monday for doing the show, and I took off Tuesday accidentally. So I don't have to do anything tomorrow except for go for a walk, grab cookies, and watch one of my favorite movies for movie club tomorrow. So.
I just don't want to be getting to adapted screenplay and people to be saying hurry up, because when we're predicting, I'm going to go at my own pace and fuck it off.
Okay, I'm going to try to do everything I can. All right, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris by Quentin Tarantino.
I'm trying to.
I mean, would she be killing people to get the dress? Is that what?
Yeah, probably.
It's like I'm gonna get this dress one way or another would be much more sinister.
Mrs. Harris has to literally go to Paris so she could kill the people that took her dress, so she could get the dress that she's always wanted. But there's hitmen holding the dress hostage or something.
Like once upon a time in a blood-soaked beauty shop.
I could actually see that title card. Sam Jackson is the narrator. Let's go.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Sarah Polley directing, he said.
Probably the same.
I
think we tackled this before and we decided it probably wouldn't look too much different.
Yeah.
No. John Carpenter doing Cocaine Bear.
I'd say it'd be more suspenseful.
More practical effects.
The first thing that comes to mind that would be awesome is it would be his score.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be what I'd look forward to the most.
Because, when Cocaine Bear would come out of the woods, he'd have his own, signature theme song. Kind of like the Shape does in Halloween. Nancy Meyer doing The Whale.
It'd be about a half an hour longer than it is.
Yeah, it'd be a lot longer for sure.
I'd say it'd be relatively the same because Whale is a stage play style thing, so it just fits as a stage play.
The Sun by Todd Field.
I did not watch The Sun yet.
I did not see it. I kayfabed it when it left the season. Empire of Light by Gina Prince Blythewood. I'm sorry, no one could have saved that movie.
Yes,
just the way that
Mendez's
the way
script is just, yeah.
I mean, there might have been the concept was fine if it would have been broken into different movies.
She would she would have had a much better grasp on the Mendez trying to tackle the racial subplot seemed really off to me.
Very much so.
And obviously any black director is going to be better at that than Sam Mendes probably.
Elvis by Michael Apted.
Well, it'd be much calmer.
Yeah. less frenetic.
I don't know. Considering Apted's like debut was Stardust, which was not very calm.
Yeah,
It was just David.
Well, I mean,
all I remember is the ending, like David Essex is high on drugs.
we talked about it like many podcasts ago, and I'm sure the panel remembers this, and I'm sure the chat remembers this, about saying what happened if Lerman directed Babylon and Elvis was directed by Chazelle. What the differences would be. So we've kind of tackled this somewhat before, but different directors, of course. The Hateful Eight by Martin Scorsese.
I'm trying to remember limited location Scorsese movies. There can't be many of those.
Not really.
I feel would have been a movie.
I mean, I would like to think he could tackle pretty much anything, but I feel like he's almost too flashy to be like a two location kind of director.
Maybe like a more like not violent. That's not the word I'm looking for. Kind of like how New York went.
Yeah,
it would. Well, I guess it would basically be Scorsese's The Hateful Eight would basically be the How Am I Funny scene. If the How Am I Funny scene was 3 hours long.
Seems fair.
All right, that's fair. Josie asked Spencer, "How did you watch The Quiet Girl again? Can I have your screener link, Spencer?" Spencer says, "Don't want." Basically, Spencer's like, "It's a long story. Don't want to get my friend in trouble." Favorite movie commentary?
I love Paul Thomas Anderson's for Boogie Nights because they're literally just at his house drinking beer.
I can say the same thing about Broken Lizard for Club Dread and Super Troopers.
Yeah, one that's I can't really recommend it because it's one of those shitty commentaries that's broken up between separate people recording at separate times. I fucking hate those.
Mm-hmm.
But when Steve Zahn did commentary for Joyride, is amazing.
I'm trying to think which comedy film had purposeful commentary when they were talking about another film.
Oh God!
I can't remember what. It was like they were watching another film, but purposefully included it on the disc as like, if you want to hear something that's not related to the footage or something.
All of the Kevin Smith director commentaries for everything he's ever done are just amazing.
And I've said before, I like the randomness that they got Carrot Top to do one for the Rules of Attraction.
So
any of Fincher's, definitely, just any of them.
Beyond the Mat's a good one. Funny you mentioned 12 Years a Slave, says Parson and Burger. I've been combing the archives from around the time you were up late doing videos with Serial to find questions for the Ask Anything About the Popcast show.
Oh.
I can only imagine what a lot of the people in chat are going to ask us on the 1st of May.
Yeah, him saying that is like my worst nightmare.
We can do the King Kong Bundy and plead the fifth if necessary, but if it's been mentioned on here once, it's fair game. Parson and Burger said, I like the early 90s TV version of Mrs. Eris Goes to Paris with Angela Lansbury.
Yeah.
The Sun will be the biggest failed Oscar bait movie of the 2022 season, says Brian. Yeah. I don't know. I Want to Dance with Somebody's kind of up there too.
I keep forgetting it exists. I never even saw it.
No one did. Spencer says, I love Rick Rosenthal's Halloween 2 commentary. Blu-rays that have multiple commentaries like Felice Rosen, director of Sleepaway Camp. Sleepaway Camp would make a great movie club. Need more horror.
We do need more horror.
Hey, one of my first ones was a horror movie. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. By the way, I've got to thank Spencer. I'm pretty sure it was Spencer.
Probably.
Spencer brought up The Burning, the last Q&A.
Mm-hmm.
Ever since then, ever since he brought that up, I've been on a kick going back to slasher movies from the 70s and 80s, and I just couldn't be happier right now.
Oh, real quick, everyone, I do want to mention that if you're joining us for our Oscar predictions, we're almost done with chat, but I definitely wanted to make sure that we give shouts to everyone that took the time to put up questions in chat. That's the reason why. And Ashley will probably timestamp them. So,
you know what's great is I don't think we did our little intro, so technically this whole fucking thing's been the cold open.
Longest cold
pretty
open. Yeah.
Your cold opening is quite literally brought to you in part by the chat.
So it's your fault. If you want to moan, you caused this.
I just got back from All Quiet on the Western Front. I'm good.
Because I'm gonna be honest with you, we haven't even started yet, but I'm kind of having a good time right now.
Yeah,
these are good.
Thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Josie's honorary Oscar, of course, goes to One Piece. Makes sense. It's literally. I'll take a shot. So I read some Babysitter's Club because AJ mentioned it last time we were on.
Are you neglecting my joke?
Oh, dear God. Ashley goes, I'll be constantly delaying the Popcast until I get a word from Owen when we're actually starting. It's literally all quiet on the Western Front for me. Spencer was like, which one? 30 or 2022? And response, he's watching the 2022 one today. Yeah, it's my last Best Picture nominee theatrically because you know, Spencer, I don't like streaming.
The only reason I say that is because then Spencer puts his joke.
All quiet on Sir Owen Disney's front. There's not many people that even call me that anymore, even though it's my brand. Confirmed to be starting at 8 Eastern, yes. Which movie club film gets your guys' honorary Oscar? Oh, that's tough.
What was that question?
Josie asked, which movie club film gets your guys' honorary Oscar?
I mean, we're probably all going to go with something we picked, right? Because we're...
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, yeah.
Well, for me, I don't even have to think about that. For me, it's Something Wild.
Probably The Late Shift. Because it doesn't get nearly enough love. Because it is an HBO movie before that was a cool thing to be. In the long, long ago, in the way before time. Ashley, do you have an answer before we move forward?
My answer should be Captain Alex.
Fleetwalker, Toledo.
I'd probably edge it to Kronos.
Fair.
I think that's the strongest out of the 23 we've done so far. Movie
And
that's
this
sort
book?
of like... Well, Scott Pilgrim a close second, but I rewatched that quite a bit, so... Kronos is just something I haven't gone back into in a while, and it's something I've... You know...
Actor, actress, or filmmaker would you give a Lifetime Achievement Award to? They don't have to have a project this year. Kevin Smith.
Trying to think.
I know there's a fantastic, just one answer to this, and I can't think of what it is, but I know it's there.
Off the top of my head, I'd say Herzog.
Oh, that's a good one.
Spencer says Melanie Griffith. Brian filmed his prediction video today. Just did a thumbnail. Basically, me getting crushed by the Everything poster with multiple Oscars. When you guys get to the Big 8, I will be revealing my predictions of what I think will be in my personal lineup for my marathon, which I will start in about maybe 3 or 4 weeks. Hi, Gabriel. Harry and the Hendersons is actually a controversial win, because technically it's a mask, not makeup. Masks can be makeup, too. I know this from working Halloween Horror Nights. It's considered both. It's not traditional makeup, no, but masks are included when it comes to makeup. But I see where you're coming from with the controversial win. Mr. Top Hat, of course. I will say that I wasn't big on The Last Emperor, but the cinematography kept me glued to the movie, said Brian. Parson and Berger talks about Judi Dench is better in Notes on a Scandal. Then he drops 3. Go.
I think I have an answer for the honorary Oscar thing, but they just got the BAFTA fellowship not that long ago, so I don't know if I want to count them or not.
What?
I actually had an answer I thought you would go with.
I was thinking about Ridley Scott.
It's funny we're all went directors.
What were you gonna say?
I was thinking you were going to go with Kidman.
Oh, she's got one.
Yeah. All right. 3 years. 72, supporting actor, Joel Grey for Cabaret. Eddie Albert. Oliver Wendell Douglas for The Heartbreak Kid. Nice. Jimmy Caan for The Godfather. Nani for The Godfather. And Pacino for The Godfather. 1975, The Archer. And in layman's terms, that's Art Carney. For Harry and Gonzo.
What is this?
You'll get to it. Don't worry. There's a punchline. This makes no sense until we get to the punchline. Pacino for Godfather 2. Nicholson for Chinatown. Hoffman for Lenny. Albert Finn for Murder on the Orient Express. 76, Best Picture was Taxi Driver. Network, Rocky, All the President's Men, and Bound for Glory. I bring these up because they were all times when terrible winners were given. Looking back now, knowing what you think will win, will history not be kind to the winners of 2022? I don't think so.
What was the last one? Well, hold on.
Are we saying picture one I'm confused about because, I mean, well, I like those, so.
Okay, well, I gotta go back to the beginning. Are we saying Joel Grey is considered a bad Oscar win?
That's what I'm seeing.
Because I'm just gonna tell you right now, no hyperbole. I think Joel Grey is my favorite win in supporting actor in all of Oscar history.
Nice.
I think
it's such an intricate sort of role, having to sort of be, the introducer of sort of everything of the world, but then also his own backstory and everything. The tortured soul that he is.
We never the amazing thing about Joel is that we get the idea that he's tortured. But there's like one scene where he's off stage just like watching Liza Minnelli. But apart from that, every single time Joel Grey is in the movie, he's the character within the character. He's only ever the show. We never really see the person underneath. We only get that from like glimpses. Wow.
Okay. So, I see where he's coming from with Art Carney winning.
That's fucking weird, yeah.
Because I would have went with Hoffman for Lenny Bruce.
I would have went with anybody else in that lineup. plus Gene Hackman, who's not even there.
Taxi Driver's not a bad picture win for me, but I would have went with Rocky.
I think that's a typo because Rocky's the picture winner that year.
Well, Rocky, I'm fine with. I would have went with Network or Taxi Driver if you want to get in that rail. No, I don't think they're going to be kind to the winners of 2022.
They'll probably something will win that, in retrospect, will sort of be looked on as bad, but I'm not entirely sure what it is at the minute.
Right.
Because everything everywhere is sort of on the fence. It could go either way. But I'm just wondering if it... To me, My Octopus Teacher is sort of the modern case of that. Because everyone was like, oh, look how cute it is with the octopus. And then it's like, you purposefully let one of its legs get cut off. And you're supposed to be a conservationist. You know?
Yeah. And now I hate to be one of the people that says this, but I mean, that's a weird movie.
Yeah.
Like all over, that's a weird fucking movie.
So Parson Burger defends his answer here. First off, he mentions MPI is releasing All Quiet for you, AJ.
Oh, okay.
Joel Grey is bad because based on who he was against. Obviously, we're not going to convince Parson Burger.
Well, first of all, it's not even fair to compare him to Pacino because Pacino's in the wrong fucking category.
Yeah.
He is why Pacino kept winning an Oscar until Son of a Woman. Okay. I think we're done. Yeah, we're done here. Okay. So, yeah. Our chat. Continue speaking, give your predictions in chat. I'll get to those. But let's do this. We start August. March 6, 2023. We end this.
All right. And like I said, I'm going to go at my own pace. We archive these. If you need to leave and it's getting too late, the video will be here when you come back.
It's time-stamped.
Yeah. But with that said, I am prepared, so we'll see how that goes. I did by the way, I didn't rely on the guilds. I did these like 3 days ago.
Oh.
And because the guilds have fucked me over too many times. I just went free falling. So
AJ, if you run through the list, if there's any like precedents in terms of like what's won at guilds and other awards, I'll mention it then, and then I'll let you go into your prediction and whatever. So
please don't do that, because I worked really hard to remembering all this stuff and writing it down.
Okay.
It's part of my stuff that I took like 3 hours trying to fix. So
It took that long for the cinematographers to just get to the bloody cinematography guild. I was up till like 8 in the morning just looking for one bloody bold thing on a fucking spreadsheet.
And what a disappointing outcome that must have been after a long wait like that.
I mean,
more than we do. You never know.
It's only because it dragged out so much.
All right. Let's start.
All right, so I'm going to be in a way different order than Wikipedia has, but interestingly enough, I do want to start where we're not doing editing second. Are you crazy?
Some people say I am, but I guess I'll put it in the order you have it, so we'll do it that way.
But we are starting with what's at the bottom of Wikipedia, which is visual effects.
Yes.
Where we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Batman, Black Panther, and Top Gun. So I'm going ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so obviously I didn't even think about this. I immediately wrote down an answer because it's that obvious. But some things popped into my head, like Ex Machina beating The Force Awakens and The Martian and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. First Man beating Infinity War, was it?
Sounds right, yeah.
Sometimes they will go against as much visual effects as possible and go more for the not as showy things. Mm-hmm. But I feel like a Marvel movie and an Avatar movie are two completely different things on what they accomplish on this level. I'm saying Avatar, obviously.
Ashley.
Yeah, the precedent from the other stuff was the only other thing was 13 lives for supporting visual effects. So yeah, it has to be for gritted teeth Avatar.
The only one of these I haven't seen is Wakanda Forever, and that's not going to change. Obviously, my personal win is Batman. I'd love to see Top Gun win this. All Quiet on the Western Front, I wouldn't have a problem with. But yeah, again, gritted teeth, 100%. It definitely would be. It's the final show, so I'm gonna have to do it this way. Avatar: The Way of Water.
All right. Owen, based on the conversation we had before this, I've got to mention it's a moment of truth. Are you ready to do sound?
Oh, baby, let's go.
All right. For sound, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, The Batman, Elvis, and Top Gun. I was stuck on 3. This category loves war movies. This category loves action movies. This category loves music movies. Basically dealing with all the above. But I could not decide for a while between All Quiet on the Western Front, Elvis, and Top Gun. This could absolutely be Elvis. This could absolutely be All Quiet on the Western Front. But do you know what the deciding factor was on my choice here? I came to realize that if Top Gun does not win sound, I think it's going home empty-handed. And I can't imagine Top Gun going home empty-handed. I just really can't.
Right.
So I said Top Gun for sound.
Ashley, best sound.
I feel most confident with Top Gun, so I'm sticking with that. Although I wouldn't be surprised if All Quiet was the one that came in and took it instead.
Well, it took the BAFTA, and then it won foreign for the Golden Reel.
Yeah, it got the Satellite Award as well.
Right. I didn't even look at those. But I mean...
Oh, some interesting stuff happened on the Satellite that you'll be happy with, Owen. So...
I hope so.
That's where I'll get to
it. So... Maverick won for Golden Reel for effects. It won the Cinema Audio Society. Honestly, again, AJ's got a point. I can't see Top Gun going home empty-handed because there's too many other movies that don't deserve to go home empty-handed that are. But Top Gun's not one of them. So yeah, best sound, Top Gun Maverick. I gotta make sure I got chat worked on this one too.
Right.
Oh god.
I need to scroll up to the top, don't I, to get Spencer's. So Spencer put All Quiet for visual effects.
Interesting.
And sound for Top Gun.
Oh. More. Brian says WGA results. Parsnip Burger says I'll give mine based on what I picked at Gold Derby. Parsnip Burger says Brian, that definitely puts 2 films at the top, Everything and Women Talking. Top Hat says, yes, the best Avatar award.
I'll bring up the WGA stuff when we get to the screenplay stuff, I think.
Parsnip Burger says Avatar for visual. His personal pick is All Quiet. Sound is between All Quiet. Well, between 2, but he's going with All Quiet. Personal and prediction. Top Hat says sound will be Top Gun's only win. Academy like vroom vroom. I like that. Parsnip Burger says Fablemans will go home empty-handed. Yeah, sad but true. Doesn't mean.
Well,
sucks. What's next?
Animated feature.
All right. Let me find it. Okay, cool.
We've got Del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel, Puss in Boots, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red. The Sea Beast is the underseen one, and I was telling Owen, much to his dismay, if you haven't seen it yet, the best way I can describe the Sea Beast is it's basically How to Train Your Dragon with water, and it's a really good movie, but yeah, but it's like I like it about as much as like How to Train Your Dragon. I think How to Train Your Dragon's kind of overrated, but I feel like nobody really knows what the Sea Beast is, so that kind of balances in a nice way.
Sure.
So now that's out of the way, um, I'm obviously saying Pinocchio. I don't know who wouldn't say Pinocchio at this point, but I do find it interesting that usually the animated feature winner is like, oh yeah, it's obviously that. And we're still dealing with that, but Marcel and Puss in Boots both have a lot of love.
Mm-hmm.
Even though Pinocchio's been running away, Marcel and Puss in Boots have a lot of love behind them. So it's like I don't honestly think it's impossible for Pinocchio to suddenly get, like a leg sweep from somebody, whether it be Marcel or Puss in Boots. But I'm still saying Pinocchio because obviously.
Ashley.
Realistically, considering looking at the other awards, Marcel got a Satellite and the Independent Annie. Everything else has been Pinocchio. I really hope they go with Marcel, but I think it's going to be Pinocchio. Again, because Del Toro is adamant that, animated movies are not for kids. So unless those people that are the anonymous ballots that just chose the movie that pleased their kid, in which case, you suffer the wrath of Del Toro. You don't want that. He will kill you.
Parsnip Burger says Pinocchio, but personally I would like to see Beast. Brian says unless the Oscars goes Disney bias with Turning Red. Brian, Turning Red was a competitor here back in the long ago in the way before time. I don't think it's anywhere in contention at this point. But animated has shocked in the past, so even though it seems like a three-horse race, it may not be. You never know. On one hand, Top Hat says the Academy loves Guillermo, but on the other hand, they really hate animation. So his mission to get animation taken seriously might make them mad. I'm going Pinocchio, but you never know. Obviously, the only one of these I actually got to see was Marcel, because it's the only one that actually came to theaters that I was able to watch. I still haven't watched Puss in Boots yet. I felt like, what's the point? Because I can't watch the other animated features, so no big deal. Again, you might as well go with the Juggernaut. I said Avatar, duh, in parentheses. So I'm going to say the same thing with a duh on this one. Best animated feature going to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
I don't know what Spencer said because it isn't in his list.
That's fair.
This is easy enough. Let's go on over here to international.
Yes. Where is it? I gotta find it. There.
Not that there's a point, but for completion's sake, and to give respect to these other movies, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, and The Quiet. Watch EO this week. I've been stalling on Argentina 1985. I still haven't gotten to Argentina 1985 yet, but I'm kind of surprised. I feel like in another year, EO would be a serious cinematography contender. Well, and we did with EO, Living in the Whale. I find it interesting how we're going. Like, it seems like we're going back to like the boxed aspect ratio for a lot of these. It's like a trend now. Anybody not saying All Quiet on the Western Front by any chance?
Ashley?
I think it's just with the momentum that it's had in the last month. I think it is going to be All Quiet on the Western Front, but there was a lot of people rating. I'm saying it. It's my pick, but Quiet Girl is one that I think could come in from out of nowhere.
Well, I mean, RRR not even nominated.
Thanks, India.
Yeah, after winning Critics' Choice, which means absolutely nothing. Visibility.com. Argentina winning the globe, but everything else it seems like it's gone one way and it's going to continue to go this way. The movie I literally got out of a little bit ago, All Quiet on the Western Front.
And documentary feature.
Okay, I gotta find it. There it is.
I've seen all of these now.
Good job.
We have All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, A House Made of Splinters, and this has been an interesting journey throughout the season.
Yeah.
Because a few months ago, I would have told you All the Beauty and the Bloodshed was going to run away with this. Fire of Love is not staying down. But I feel like we've really been gradually moving towards this Navalny thing. Which is good because as Ashley alluded to, this is a great lineup. Navalny is the best one. So it's appropriate. And I said I had something to tell you about All That Breathes.
Yes.
It's a movie about brothers caring for birds. It ties into their whole backstory, but that's like the basic thing here. But there is one scene where they are just at work and they are casually talking about the time The Undertaker threw Mankind off the Hell in a Cell.
I forgot that.
Okay. Oh my god. It was great because that has such an odd... I don't know if you know the story, AJ. It has an odd connotation in my life. Other than being obviously a very important part of King of the Ring 1998. Needless to say, and something that wrestling fans still remember to this day, it also cost me a perfect game playing NTN Trivia one night. Because that was the actual question. And the answer that was given as the part of the 5 multiple choice, AJ, you know what I'm talking about. You dealt with it enough throughout the years of Buffalo Wild Wings. Was Dude Love. And because it took me a second to find the answer that wasn't true, I did not get the 1,000 points on that question. And thus, it ruined my perfect game in the wrestling trivia game for NTN Trivia.
That's painful.
Tell me about it.
That's why New Year's Eve is always my favourite time of the year, because somebody tweets, if you start the pay-per-view at this time, Undertaker throws Mankind off a cell at midnight.
So many of those, if you start, insert meme here.
If I remember correctly, one brother says, "Hey, do you remember when that happened?" And the other brother says, "Yes, that was stunning."
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
So, long story short, Fire of Love is fighting.
Right?
I don't think All the Beauty and the Bloodshed will ever be dead.
Nope.
But I am saying Navalny. But it could believably be any of those 3, I think.
Sure. Ashley.
Oh, the first time me and AJ differ.
Oh, boy.
I'm going to go with Fire of Love on this one.
Interesting.
I think it might just resonate more. Just in case the Oscars don't want to get over political. Which is the most political ceremony of the year, so I don't know why I'm saying that. All I do know is, considering how previous history of this category, or over the year for this category and the other awards, House Made of Splinters is punching above its weight. Because everything else has won something. House Made of Splinters hasn't. So what if it comes in and completes the quota?
It did a really good job giving that kid a redemption arc.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would never hit a kid. Honestly, I know. I really, really seriously doubt I would ever.
Nobody
in my life
clip
hit
this bit out of context.
That being said, every time that kid smiled when he knew he was in trouble, I wanted somebody to knock the smile off of his face. And the fact that kid, they gave that kid enough of a redemption arc that I cared about him, I was not expecting.
All right. Before we get started, Brian says, remember how I tried to get Del Toro's Pinocchio in for picture?
That would have been great if that happened. I would have been all for that.
Top Hat says, Donkey with headphones, I'm putting together a team.
Yeah. Hang on. Let's transition back. Donkeys assemble!
But yeah, play the electro theme. We'll be good to go. All Quiet One International, Decision to Live should be on this list. Do think Argentina in 1985 and Close are very good. This is my favorite category. I'm a simp for Ford, says Parsnip Burger. Documentary is Navalny, and also my personal pick. Top Hat says Fire of Love has been getting a lot of love recently. Fire of Love won DGA. Yeah, that's not listed in my list, but I have it. Other things. Navalny has it to stick it to Putin. Just that time. Oscars love politics. Fire of Love fits into the recent niche of wholesome documentaries like Octopus Teacher and Free Solo. So yeah, we're gonna split again, but I'll go with it. I'm going with AJ's because DG is one thing, but PGA and BAFTA speak for themselves. I'm going to Navalny.
Right, I think it's clear where we're going now.
Go ahead.
Let's just go right over. Let's just go right over to documentary short.
The only one I have no stake in because it's the only thing I didn't get to see. Thanks, BAFTA ceremony.
Yeah, like I said before, Jay Rosenblatt. This is the second year in a row. The second year in a row, his movie is the only one in this category I have not seen. I don't think his distributors like his movies very much. They do not want them to be seen. It's going to HBO in like June. Who? I don't know. So I know documentary shorts I'm sure have an audience, but like I said, outside of awards season, I find it hard to imagine. So for documentary short, we have The Elephant Whisperers, Haul Out, How Do You Measure a Year, The Martha Mitchell Effect, and Stranger at the Gate. I almost want to say The Elephant Whisperers because it's the longest one. I feel like the longer time you have to get them invested, the more they're likely to go for it. It's what happens sometimes. The Martha Mitchell Effect, I probably would have gone with maybe like last month or so, but I have a really good feeling about Stranger at the Gate here. I'm not sure where it comes from, but I just have a really good feeling about it, so that's what I'm saying.
I do because most everybody's preaching it.
And I had no idea. That was one where I had no idea where the hell it was going. I was like, they made a documentary about this fucking guy. Because when he sat down at first, I thought they were interviewing him from prison, but it's just a weird room. So yeah, that's not the direction I thought it was going. So,
Ashley, best documentary short.
I'm gonna go with Elephant Whisperers.
Okay.
I was gonna say Haul Out because it sounds like All Out, and I was getting into a fight, and then I realised it was Russian, and then it'd be like, oh god, then it might get political.
It's Haul Out is so simple.
I wouldn't know. Thanks, BAFTA. Being the greatest ceremony of the season this year. Documentary shorts, the only category Brian got wrong last year. Top Hat says Elephant Whisperers. Parsnip Burger says Stranger at the Gate. Shorts are generally not chosen if longer than 15 minutes based on past wins. More doesn't always mean better. Well, since they love to give awards to streaming services, I also went with The Elephant Whisperers. It's Netflix. Now let's talk about the show I actually can talk about. Joyce Inc. Stranger at the Gate show is shorts, right? Who's that? Anyway.
Well, speaking of what you just brought up about going with the streaming service, live action short. I've only seen two of these, so you're gonna have more to say than I will.
Are correct, sir. I have seen all 5 of these.
We have An Irish Goodbye, Ivolu, The Pupils, Night Ride, and The Red Suitcase.
Yes.
I was pretty much all in on An Irish Goodbye. I think I even said in the nominations video that it was the front runner. It probably still is after BAFTA, even though it wasn't against any of its competition.
Yeah, none of this stuff has had a precursor except for BAFTA.
But I went ahead and leaned number one. Now, you can't always go with the recognizable name.
Oh, you're gonna go. I know what you're doing.
Yeah. You can't always go with the recognizable name, especially if that person already has a room full of their own Oscars already. But I was thinking about it, and I was really going An Irish Goodbye. But then at the last minute, I went with the more accessible one because it's just hanging out on Disney Plus. It's got the recognizable name attached to it. Sometimes you can go with it. You can't always, but sometimes you can. So I said The Pupils.
Okay. That honestly, I don't know. It was 37 in a row minutes long, and it felt like it was like 2 hours. Ashley, what do you got?
The one that they're that confident in, they're showing it on British television right after the 10 o'clock news the night after the Oscars ceremony. An Irish Goodbye.
An Irish Goodbye is easily the best one. Honestly, I feel weird going against Quaron here. And those children singing is still stuck in my head. What else have you seen, AJ? What have you not seen?
Saw The Pupils and I saw Night Ride.
I like Night Ride. Night Ride's is an interesting concept.
Like I said, there's something about movies at night with snow that's just really that whole movie could have just been that point of view shot of the train on the track, and that would have been it for me. I would have been fine.
I liked it because it was really interesting the way that what it went into, like the story that it told when she got on the tram.
It's another one where you're like, when it starts, you really have no idea where it's going.
No, God, no, it definitely on. And given where we are in society right now, it honestly feels very topical. I think The Red Suitcase is good. I really enjoyed it. It's very interesting. It's basically like you don't know what the reason why. Red Suitcase is interesting because it's like you have a girl who is afraid to leave the airport, and there's somebody obviously waiting on her, and she's kind of staying away from him. And it seems like there was basically an arranged marriage that she wants nothing to do with, so she wants to kind of abandon the situation. And all she has is this red suitcase with all of her stuff in it. And like she goes to the bus to try to get away from this guy, and he stops the bus while she escapes, but her red suitcase is still on the bus. And she's hiding now in the luggage compartment of the bus. So it's intense in places. I dug the Red Suitcase greatly. Evolu's fine. It's just typical stuff you normally get. It's it's weird because it's like two sisters. One sister runs away and like she's trying to find her, and that's a really heavy-handed one as well, because we find out that she was abused by her father, and she disappeared because she kind of disappeared literally from the earth. So, because it drove her to that. It's pretty heavy as well. But yeah, Irish Goodbye is my answer, and it's easily my favorite of the list. But I would not have a problem with anything winning this, except for, sorry, AJ, yours, because that's the one I didn't like of the entire list. Ashley, do you have an answer? You're also going with Irish Goodbye? That's right, you went with it because of the reference of it playing on television. That's right.
Yeah. Although I think, like, because it was in the BAFTA shorts, they actually put it up on the BFI player, but I don't know whether that got pulled down already.
I mean, it seems like a sucker bet to go against Quaron, but I mean, people that are recognizable in these categories lose every year, so it's not always a guarantee that if you know the person, it's gonna be a guaranteed win. Parson Burger's picking Irish Goodbye. Brian says Quaron is now tied with Branagh for 7 different categories, and Top Bat's going with your. And Irish Goodbye, that's just the plot of Banshees. Good God, Gabriel. Mr. Top Hat with the one-liner. I love it.
Are we ready to finish the shorts?
Yeah, because I want to hear this, because this might be entertaining.
For animated short, we have The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, The Flying Sailor, Ice Merchants, My Year of Dicks, and An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake, and I believe it. Hearing Riz Ahmed say all of those was the height of the announcement, by the way.
Yeah, I agree.
So the front runner the whole season seems to have been The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse.
Yes.
Which is what I am saying.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's really what's interesting about The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse is that this might sound like an insult, but it's not. I mean it in the best way possible. Apparently, it's based on a novel. I would have assumed it was based on a children's book. And like I said, that sounds like an insult, but I don't mean it that way at all. If anything, it's a good thing. Because of the way I've seen some people criticize it for basically being like all the characters speak in platitudes, basically. But just the way it simplifies, because there's a lot of quotes in there where, like, even though they're just the most surface level thing, it's like the way they simplify complicated thoughts and like complicated feelings.
Mm-hmm.
Felt like something like, yeah, like this is something people should show their children.
I agree.
That's why it's been the best-selling kids book for the past 4 Christmases. That's why it's not come into paperback yet, because it makes enough money off the hardback version every time it comes out every year. They're just like, yeah, just put it in hardback again.
Remember your complaint about the pupils, where it's a short but it feels really, really long?
Right.
That's how I felt about My Year of Dicks.
I really dug it.
My favorite of the animated shorts is An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake, and I think I believe it. It's such a cool idea, and it was executed perfectly.
The weird thing about The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse was the fact that it succeeded to me on so many levels. Like, if it's played for kids, cool, but it made you feel. And it had a great message that anybody can believe in. Home is where you're the happiest, no matter where you are, whether it's family, friends, home. Blake Clark, home is where you make it. 100%.
And like, I appreciate Ice Merchants and the Fly. He said that in Joe Dirt.
Yeah. Yeah, because the line David Spade says afterwards is not something we can really say nowadays. Love Joe Dirt.
God damn you for bringing Joe Dirt into this Oscar conversation.
Yes.
And I love David Spade, but I'm only willing to go so foreign. But
I mean, to be fair, AJ, you're the one that brought up the Hell in a Cell from King of the Ring '98.
Hey, I get to talk about
all that Breeds brought it up. I didn't. The brothers did.
It's payback because I get to talk about a movie I absolutely hate way too much in the rest of these categories. So let me at least get some fun out of this right now before I become extremely depressed.
I will also say, as far as using animation as a medium, I appreciate Ice Merchants and The Flying Sailor for doing what they did without dialogue.
I hate Flying Sailor, but Ice Merchants is good.
Yeah, but yeah, so An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake, and I think I believe it is definitely my favorite one, but Boy, Mother, Fox, and Horse, I would think would be a perfectly fine winner.
I'm okay as long as it's not the Flying Sailor. Ashley, what are you going with?
The one I've been champion since I saw it on Christmas Eve. Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. It's so fucking deep, yet so surface level, so it speaks to everyone.
Yeah.
It takes like big, large philosophical things and dumbs it down for kids and adults that don't get that sort of thing. But at the same time, it makes them think, oh, wait, you know, maybe it is good to be kind.
Well, I mean, it's Gabriel Byrne and DJ Big Driss, so what? How do you go wrong? So Parson and Burger saying Ice Merchants. Top Hat says Oscars do love them a movie with a long title. It's either Boy or Ostrich. I'm going with Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse. Parson and Burger says leaks of Oscar voters talked about their ballots. One woman discussed she didn't like Year of Dicks.
No shit.
I can see where it could be something that people may be a turnoff for people. It reminded me of I'm sorry, Jay. It reminded me of something that we would watch in Athens that Greta directed long ago in the Way Before Time before she got acclaim.
I know what you mean.
Yep.
Or it's definitely something Miranda July would make. Hey, do you remember who Miranda July is?
Not off the top of my head.
She did me and you and Everyone We Know. She did The Future, the one about the cat.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse seems like it's the unstoppable juggernaut here. And again, made me cry. That doesn't take much, but yeah, it's an impactful little piece of cinema.
I like the fact as well that the author is like massively into everything that's been put into it as well. It's not like it's properly adapted. It's like he's been hands-on with it as much as other filmmakers would be.
Also, the credits on it are insane. Did you watch the credits? Like, J.J. Abrams was a producer. Woody Harrelson was an executive producer. Was that Phoebe Waller-Bridge's brother that did the music? The one that does the music for Fleabag?
Yep.
Yep.
Correct.
That's a crazy line.
And Minghella.
Yeah.
Well, AJ, the thing about it is when you get the experience of being able to watch all of the shorts like one after another for like the little mini marathon that they do, you get everything, and you get to see the entire credit sequence and everything before the next one starts. And you don't know the next one starts until you get the triumphant music and the big banner that says the name of the movie, name of the short.
Even the animation touch in the credits of the mole just wanting the cake and like, nope, falls off to the next credit line.
So good. All right.
I really thought we were getting closure.
That's a fair assessment.
Okay. Owen, do you know where we're going next?
Oh, God. No. I'm guessing we're either going music or Born Awards. Probably music.
Music.
Of course we are.
Which means the next one we're doing is song.
Cool. Okay.
I've got something.
Oh.
I've got something to say about this category.
I want to hear this on camera. Let's go.
Oh, God.
All right. Here's the thing. Our nominees are Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, Hold My Hand from Top Gun, Lift Me Up from Black Panther, Natu Natu from RRR, and This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once. So I said I was doing some catch-up this week, watching nominated movies that I needed to catch up on.
Right.
And I had no idea what it was when I went into Tell It Like a Woman. Is a fantastic idea. It's an anthology movie by 7 different female directors telling female stories, a few of which are true stories, so it kind of balances narrative and documentary. It's a very good idea and a very creative idea. The short films, on the other hand, Holy fucking shit. That this is an Oscar-nominated movie is the reason we need to get rid of this category.
Oh Lord.
The first story is directed by Taraji, who I would trust has the ability to direct her own movie eventually. This movie, however, this short film has Jennifer Hudson giving the cringiest performance of her career. The cringiest two performances of her career. The second segment is by Catherine Hardwicke, who's she did 13, man. It doesn't matter if she did the first Twilight movie. She did 13. 13 is where she really thrives. Catherine Hardwicke did Lords of Dogtown.
Yeah, she did.
Catherine Hardwicke also cast Cara Delevingne to play somebody with a mental illness.
Oh.
What in the ever-living fuck would make her do something like that?
That's terrible.
Somebody who is notorious for being one of the worst actresses in movies right now, you cast as somebody with a mental illness. What I will say is there is one segment that is nice about a single mom. Only problem is it pretty much ends up being a commercial for a robotic vacuum. It's basically a Roomba commercial, but it's a very sweet Roomba commercial. I'll give it that. And the one about the vet was pretty well done. Everything else in that movie is fucking abysmal. The final segment is an animated one that's like 5 minutes. That's basically like a rejected segment from Love, Death, and Robots or something. A rejected segment from Love, Death, and Robots. Holy fucking shit. My jaw was on the floor of how much of a piece of shit this is. Those two segments right in the middle. That's the power of Diane Warren. That's the kind of shit Diane Warren can get nominated. In a year where she's already getting her honorary Oscar.
That ties in Diane Warren. Now you understand.
There's one more thing. I'm curious how they're going to do this because Applause has two versions. It plays during the end credits, because of course it does. And then a dance remix of it plays during the other set of credits. My question, and they're both credited to Diane Warren in the credits, so I'm wondering, I'm assuming they're nominating the slow version. I'm wondering if they're going to perform the dance version. Because the dance version is kind of shit, as you can probably guess. So that's, yeah. If you weren't aware, that's what Applause is, and that's what Tell It Like a Woman is. I'm saying Not To for my winner. Because that's going to be... I feel like Not To's live performance is going to be the highlight of the show itself. Probably.
So we're going back to the A.R. Rahman Slumdog performances of old.
That might be a little racist, but okay.
It's definitely not.
Yeah, they're both
Bollywood song. We haven't had a Bollywood song on the Oscar stage since then, so that's why I'm saying there's precedent that's been set.
Okay, that's fair.
That's what I'm referring to. And real quick, Sophia Carson is the one that's performing this. For those of you Disney fans like myself, know her as Evie, the evil queen's daughter from The Descendants. And apparently it has yet to been determined if that... It looks like Hold My Hand is not getting performed. Because I haven't seen anything about Gaga doing the song. It looks like it's the only thing that's not getting performed.
Wasn't Beyonce relatively last minute last time? Because basically they filmed it basically like the day or two before.
Well, Rihanna already confirmed, so I mean, I would think Gaga would too, but I guess not. Ashley, what do you got? Best original song.
I'm going Natu as well. I mean, there's a reason that it must be in here and not getting anything else. I mean, apart from, you know, the Indian Academy being idiot.
And apparently a fan screening this weekend out of absolute nowhere. So Brian asks, do you think the Super Bowl performance might affect the votes for Rihanna?
But I tried to look it up. I didn't watch it, but I have no idea what was controversial about that. Is there anything at all?
I mean, it wasn't
Googled it, I couldn't
controversial.
find
She
anything.
basically did. When she said she was like taking notes from Beyonce, I wondered what that was about. Turns out what it was is she basically uncovered her dress and revealed that she was pregnant live at the Super Bowl, which I'm pretty sure is what Beyonce did when she did the Super Bowl like 7 or 8 years ago as well, I think.
Don't know.
Is that the controversy?
Maybe.
Yeah. Sure.
Well, maybe she didn't. Maybe because she didn't do the new song from Black Panther, she just did all her old material. I don't know.
So Parsnip Burger says, "This Is the Life" is my pick. RRR has fallen behind. No one remembers it. They see everything. They'll pick it. I hope you're wrong, Parsnip Burger. I really do. I've been hurt enough this season.
Well,
says,
if I remember correctly, the way voters are, unless things have changed, the way it used to be was the people voting for song were showed the song in the context of the movie.
Yeah.
And Natu Natu is a show-stopping number right in the middle of the movie. Everything else is a credit song.
That's fair. So Parsnip says everything will win between 6 and 8 Oscars. Again, I hope you're wrong. Top Hat says she was performing "This Is a Life" instead of Mitski. Yeah, that got announced too.
What was that?
It's going to be Shu and Byrne doing "This Is a Life"
with Song Lux.
Brian asks, which Diane Warren movie is the best? Marshall, RBG, Breakthrough, The Head, Four Good Days, or Tell It Like a Woman? All of these songs nominated for the past 6 years in a row. There's another one coming next year too.
I thought Marshall was a pretty good movie, actually. Even if it was, it seemed a little baity, but it's pretty good, actually.
Any of those. Okay.
Are we on? You didn't say your song, did you?
It's Not To. That's an easy one.
All right, guys. I'm kind of flying into the sun on score.
Oh God. Let's go.
All right. For score, I have All Quiet. No, I don't have this. The Academy has this. For score, the nominees are
The Batman.
All Quiet on the Western Front, Babylon, Banshees, Everything Everywhere All at Once, and The Fabelmans. This is The Fabelmans' only chance to not go home empty-handed. And Williams is done after he's doing indie, and then he's done, right?
That's what it sounds like.
Probably
for movies, I think he said. Hurwitz is in a kind of lead here. Saying I went to one of the news websites to get the guild winners, and one of the For Your Consideration banners was, "Hey guys, here's all the awards that Justin Hurwitz has won for Babylon. The next one should be the Oscar or whatever." I got an ad for the Oscars. I didn't get an ad for Babylon. I got an ad for the Oscars themselves, and they were playing the Babylon music in it.
Nice.
It's very clear that Hurwitz is at the front.
Sure.
But I mentioned recently that I was going to take a swing for the fences to get a movie more than one win.
Oh, I think I know where this is headed.
And it's a movie that's obviously beloved in the Academy here. Much more so than Babylon was. Not that they're going to base it on that. I'm just saying that's something. And I feel like the score is something that really helps tell the story of this movie. So just some weird gut reaction to that made me go for it here as my one sort of swing for the fences prediction. That's probably going to be totally wrong because it's such a clear and obvious winner ready to go here. But I didn't say him, and I didn't say Williams. I said Carter Burwell.
Yep.
Carter Burwell's been here a long time, doing a lot of great work for a long time. Only got his first nomination for Carol less than 10 years ago, which is crazy. So yeah, like I said, I'm not confident in it, but we need at least one swing for the fences each, and that's mine.
Ashley, what do you got?
I want to say Banshees, but because I need something to at least get the edge on AJ, I'm going to say Babylon.
Banshees would be nice to give it more than to give a win. I would not have a problem if Burwell won this. Not at all, actually. As a matter of fact, I think that's the score I prefer the most overall. The way it sets the tone, but Williams' score is so great. And All Quiet is just literally that, and then the dooming music of death comes in, and then you know that it's not over yet. Like, oh yeah, it's like we're conceding, it's over. Of course, here comes Dr. Robotnik out here that says, oh, by the way, we have like an hour left. Let's keep fighting. We're not going home. You got somebody killed, good sir. I'm not going to say who it was, given the fact that people haven't watched the movie yet. But thanks, Mega Man.
Yeah, I'm gonna be rooting for Williams because I really don't want the Fablemans to go home empty-handed.
I would love if Williams won this. I would love if Burwell won this. I wouldn't have an issue if Bertelman won this. But yeah, I mean, there's no other answer to this. It seems like it's been written in the stars since day one. This is Hurwitz's award to win. So Babylon.
Yeah. So Babylon's your prediction?
Babylon is definitely my prediction. Chat real quick. Person at Burger says All Quiet. Top Hat says Babylon. Gotta play Voodoo Mama at the show. That'd be nice. Brian says my dad watched Banshees last night. Yeah, the movie's great. It's better in each rewatch too. All right. We are moving on to the Born Awards now, it looks like.
Yep, and we're gonna start with makeup.
Okay, hold on. Let me get rid of these first. Okay. I'm trying to put them in order here. Makeup? Okay. Makeup and hair.
For makeup and hair, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, The Batman, Black Panther, Elvis, and The Whale. A year ago, we were saying Colin Farrell's makeup for The Batman would make this a shoo-in. But that is not to be. This is obviously down to 2.
Badly.
So, honestly, I was really close to writing down Elvis.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I said something about this category and how I was had it going parallel with another category. And I'll just say right now that I kind of abandoned that theory. So the thing here is Elvis has clearly got a lot of love. Elvis has got a lot more love in general than The Whale does.
Oh yeah, big time.
And the way, and like we were saying, you know, when you look at Hanks, when you look at as Butler ages, and really as Hanks ages too, there's clearly a lot going into Elvis. And Fraser is obviously going to be Fraser, but Fraser is also... Fraser talked a lot about his makeup breaking ground, about the way it reacts to gravity. He's mentioned in like every interview, the fact that it's a whole suit and not just his face. Mm-hmm. His arms are also present throughout the movie, though his arms look a little, I don't know, unnaturally wrinkled to me as far as the makeup job goes. But when you think about like the whole picture, I'm wondering if this might put it over, because they've been really... Elvis has talked a lot about the makeup in general, like anytime they talk about the movie. But The Whale especially really singles out, because that's obviously such a big part of also what's already gotten attention with Fraser's performance. So I went against myself here. I went against myself in multiple ways that we'll talk about later too. And I went ahead and said the whale here.
Okay.
I said, even though Elvis has so many advantages, I don't know. I just kind of pulled myself in the direction of the whale. So we'll see what happens.
Ashley.
I'm gonna give the edge. To, it's even. I'd say it's between Elvis and the whale. I'm gonna just give the edge to Elvis though, because whether it's like the amount of hair and makeup that needed to be done, along with the special effects that you've had to use on Hanks as well as Butler, may just sort of give it the edge because it's a more rounded package. But I could see it being either. I was toying between the two.
Okay. Parsonberger says Elvis for makeup and hair. Top Hat says Elvis has to win at least one technical. So I'm giving makeup to them. Yeah, I mean, I said in August, and I stuck by Elvis's side. And this is one thing that I feel like I have on this season, that I never abandoned Elvis for one podcast we did for award nominations and predictions. And when the actual nominations got announced and Elvis did so well, it felt like, oh, well, and it's something that I felt that something I was always going to happen. And I'm glad that it actually panned out that way. Yes, in another life, the Batman would be running away with this. And I'm glad it's nominated because it deserves to be. And yeah, it's easily my pick here. But yeah, it's down to two. And for the same reason that AJ is not going with something, I am. Because The Whale has lost a lot of traction as a movie. But it doesn't mean anything for Fraser at this point, because he seems to be the one that's leading the charge. But if you want to talk about makeup and hair, you got to go with the total package, like Ashley mentioned. I'm going with Elvis.
These next two categories are going to be very quick for me because, yeah, they. Well, here's the thing. Let's start with costumes.
Go ahead.
For costumes, we have Babylon, Black Panther, Elvis, Everything Ever All at Once, and Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. I actually see a world where Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris wins this.
I would love that world. That'd be nice.
But here's the thing. The question is in regards to Catherine Martin. Twice now for a Lerman movie, Catherine Martin has doubled up with costumes and production design after Moulin Rouge and Gatsby. Question is she gonna keep doing that again? I think she will. So I'm saying for costumes, I'm saying.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think Ashley, did you hear AJ or did he cut out? Because he cut out to me.
Well, from the fact he was saying, I'm gonna see a
right.
a Jeopardy daily double here.
That's what I thought. Okay, good.
I've already put the prediction Elvis down for the next category because I'm guessing it's next. I also have Catherine winning for costume.
Parson and Berger agrees. Penguin and Colonel's makeup are very similar if you think about it, says Top Hat. Brian says Martin is also nominated for picture as well. Top Hat says giving costumes to Elvis. If a Lerman movie wins anything, it's costumes. I concur. Another big win for Elvis.
Let's roll right on into production design, shall we?
Yes.
Where the fuck are you? There you are. For production design, we have A Quiet on Western Front, Avatar, Babylon, Elvis, and The Fabelmans. Not So yeah, I've already said it. I'm gonna double up on Catherine Martin because that's the Catherine Martin way.
Mhm.
I would never rule out Babylon, and honestly, I wouldn't rule out Avatar either. But I feel Babylon is a major threat here. But I'm still saying Elvis.
Ashley.
Babylon for me. I think there's too much scale of that production to sort of not credit production design for it.
So what we're saying basically is no matter how you cut it, the winner is going to be someone with the last name Martin.
Martin.
Because Florencia Martin is Babylon. Catherine Martin is Elvis. So it makes perfect sense.
Well, with that said, All Quiet on the Western Front cannot be.
No.
All Quiet on the Western Front could get anything it's nominated for as far as techs go. Believably.
You know, honestly, it was been kind of a 2-horse race with me, and it feels like it's down to the Martins and visibility.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Elvis as well. Do not count out Babylon, because that was my original instinct, and I decided to change my mind. So don't make me regret it, because the only thing I can do at this point is win this horrible award show because I'm out of the competition. So,
Are we ready for the Big Ten?
real quick. Yes. Take a shot. Babylon for production design swept every award without anyone noticing. Martin Burger says ADJ went with Babylon. I picked Babylon for production design, but I want All Quiet to win. So Brian says, since production design winners like to go with movies setting around Hollywood, is it odd the artist did not win this category?
Spencer said Mrs. Harris for costume and Elvis for both makeup and production design.
Okay.
I have no details about cinematography, but the other 9 I do. So
cool. I'm going to take a swing for the fences on this one. We going to cinematography now?
No, we're going to editing.
Oh, God. Let's start this garbage already.
Let's. For editing, we have Banshees, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, Tar, and Top Gun. God forbid Elvis gets this. Jesus Christ. That would probably be worse than if Hank Corwin had one for Vice. That would have been worse. So this is the second best bet for Top Gun.
Yeah.
But I think with all the multiverse jump, because here's the thing, you could say it's going to be the action movie, which would be Top Gun. But Everything Everywhere All at Once is the action movie and other things. It's an action movie and it's all together because of the editing. It's all up and down. That movie is editing. And clearly they're in love with it. As a whole, so I'm saying Everything Everywhere All at Once for editing, and let us not forget, it was its only BAFTA win.
yeah, I was just going to mention, it's like, if the only thing that they liked was the editing, then everybody else must really like it.
Ashley.
Yeah, the one that's got all the, well, I think, if I have a quick look at the history of editing, yeah, Everything Everywhere's won everything, bar obviously the drama category, which it couldn't be nominated in because it won comedy musical, which went to Top Gun, which is why you can't rule it out. But yeah, considering nearly everything was Paul Rodgers, I go with the not lead singer of Queen.
Top Hat says the editing and everything is a character in and of itself. It's got to win. Parsnip Burger agrees. Moving forward, because this is the final prediction show.
Hold on. I thought you were saying moving forward as in you didn't want to say your answer. You just want to move to the next category.
No, I'm not. I refuse to say the word best. For editing, The correct answer is Banshees. I would like to see Top Gun win. You know, at this point, I would not have an issue if Tar won. I never thought I'd say that. I like Elvis, and I don't care. So the one that's going to win is the one that doesn't need it and shouldn't. But it's the one that I see the most love for, so yeah. I don't even need to say it. Paul Rogers.
Now we ready for cinematography?
Yeah. Yeah, we are actually. I'm about to shock some people.
Okay, honestly, this was pretty easy for me. I don't know about everybody else.
Nope.
Okay. Well, our nominees, which are blatantly missing two, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Bardo, Elvis, Empire of Light, and Tar. The fact that Top Gun and Banshees aren't here does not sit well with me.
Yeah, same.
Like, Bardo's an inspired choice because Bardo's fucked up. Empire of Light can go fuck itself. I don't care if it's Deacons.
That movie's trash.
And Elvis is such. I don't know why it won the Guild. The Cinematography Guild has gone with some weird choice, but that I don't get it. I just don't get it, honestly. So this could believably be stolen by Tar. If nothing else, for the long take, the Juilliard scene. If nothing else, I mean, the whole movie is extremely well shot.
No, which one was.
But to make up for the fact of how, not that they're the same person, but they kind of go hand in hand a little bit. To make up for the fact that it's really weird in retrospect that Edward Berger's not in director, I feel like the only way to make up for that is for All Quiet on the Western Front to get cinematography, right? So that's what I'm saying.
All right. Ashley, what do you got?
Let's fucking make history. Elvis.
Fuck you. I hate it when he steals my freaking thunder.
I find it amazing that we've gone all these years and a woman hasn't been given cinematography. What was it? Was it Power of the Dog 2 years ago that should have probably got it as well and didn't? From either the Guild or the Academy?
Mandy was the first woman to win the Guild.
Yeah.
In history.
Admittedly, they've only been doing stuff for sort of like 30, 40 years.
So, I hate this because it reveals my hand because Ashley stole my thunder. All Quiet could win this. The rightful winners are not involved with it, so that's not a thing. But some of those scenes in All Quiet, especially like the battleground scenes when you like see all the bodies on the ground, you can't really tell what's real and what's not. Then they just pick them up and just toss them in the pile. So impactful. I wasn't a fan of Tar the first time, but I would say that cinematography is a nomination I'm okay with. And the second time, I liked it more. Empire of Light can die in a fire. Bardo's been the joke of the season, but it kind of got one Oscar nomination, so I can't do the Bardo after today. So there you go. Yeah, even though Ashley stole my shine, I agree. Mandy Walker for Elvis.
I just want to see history made. I want another category that isn't just men. Please.
Can we get history made for a movie that's not Elvis?
No.
Cinematography and editing. Elvis, that movie is such a fucking headache for those two reasons.
And you didn't watch it in the way that I watched it either. You probably would have hated it even worse.
It was a pretty big screen I saw it on. It wasn't that, but it was a big screen.
It wasn't an IMAX screen, but it's the biggest screen the AMC has, and I was at the top of the actual venue. That's how I watched Top Gun, too.
it was our second biggest screen at our theater that I saw Elvis on, and that was enough.
Parsnip Burger and Top Hat both say All Quiet. Top Hat says that would be surprised if Bardo took it because it's Inari too. Okay.
Are we ready? Are we ready for the big eight?
Sure. Because I know where this is headed. So this is where I just tap out on life.
Okay. For adapted, we have All Quiet on the Western Front, Glass Onion, Living, Top Gun, and Women Talking. You can tell we're getting close to the top because the titles are changing.
Worth,
I'll
mention here quickly, because Brian was talking about WGA stuff. Women Talking did get the WGA as well as the USC Scripter. The only other thing out of this list that got nominees was All Quiet on the Western Front for the BAFTA. Go ahead, AJ.
BAFTA lately has had a very good track record with this category.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I would hate to bring up the idea of 2 categories in a row, a woman getting beat by All Quiet on the Western Front. Because Sarah Polley has had this category for quite some time. Like I said, there was a time there where I got delusional about Glass Onion, and that ended up not working out. So Sarah Polley's basically always had this category, supposedly. But the thing about it is, and some people might say this works in its favor here, Women Talking drastically underperformed in general everywhere. It could have a slew of acting nominations, a slew of tech nominations if it really wanted. It could be in cinematography, it could be in costumes, it could have 2 or 3 actresses in it, could have Ben Whishaw in. It's got none of that. It's got this, and it's got picture. Which, like I said, could work in its favor as, we got to give Women Talking something. We loved it enough to put it in picture. We got to give it a win. All Quiet on the Western Front has made such an impact. I feel like it's got to get something above the line. And the only 2 options it has above the line are this and picture. And like I said, just putting it on the top, that BAFTA, I know it wasn't at USC Scripter or WGA, was it? All Quiet on the Western Front.
I don't think so.
They weren't against each other.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. It was Wakanda Forever, and She Said.
Yeah, and like I said, BAFTA's got a really good... and that's the thing, too, is I feel like it can't... I know sometimes BAFTA goes their own way, but the fact that BAFTA went so fucking hard for this movie, there's love in there that has to go above the line. So I'm going to go ahead and say All Quiet on the Western Front for adapted, even though Polley is the obvious choice. Yeah.
Women are talking, AJ. Get it right, says Gabriel. Ashley.
I'm sticking with Women Talking because why else is it in Best Picture?
It sticks out like a sore thumb.
The fact that it's nominated for nothing else, at least All Quiet's got a lot of tech stuff, so the script's got to be surely that good to be qualified for Best Picture. You would have thought, so I'm gonna stick with that.
I wouldn't have a problem. It's bad that the one movie that's gonna win is the movie that I don't want to see win. I'm okay with AJ's choice. This should be Ryan Johnson's all day, every day. But we don't live in that world. We also don't live in a world where Top Gun Maverick can win this either. Would like that, though. And I wouldn't even have a problem if Living won. But the one that's gonna win, given the fact that it did only get 2 nominations, and I don't see it going home empty-handed because there's way too many movies that are going home empty-handed this year that shouldn't. Yeah, Sarah Polley for Women Talking.
Original?
Yeah, original.
For original screenplay, we have Banshees, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, Tar, and Triangle of Sadness.
On the
if the Daniels are right here, Martin McDonagh is lurking behind a tree like the Wicked Witch of the West. but I do think this is the Daniels.
Ashley.
I'm gonna say Everything Everywhere All at Once, but I need a three-sided coin because it could be Banshees, or I could see sort of Tar just getting something here, maybe.
That'd be one.
Okay. Parson Burger says adapted as Women Talking. Top Hat says WGA when gives it to Sarah Polley. Brian says they could just give it to Polley, though there were no complaints from the news media that we have women nominated for director. The other reason people will pick Women Talking is due to the fact there were no women directors and she was snubbed. That's Parsnip Burger's line. Burger.
Is Women Talking giving you flashbacks to when Greta lost for Little Women?
I think it's slapping me. Yeah, it's kind of slapping me in the face. I'm saying that reference, but yeah, a little bit. Parsnip Burger saying everything. Original screenplay. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute. Brian's lineups here. Personal predictions adapted. Batman, Causeway, Marcel, Quiet Girl, Maverick. And looks like original After Sun, Banshees, Fabelmans, Fire of Love, and Triangle of Sadness. Honestly, as long as Triangle of Sadness doesn't win this, I'm not going to be upset. Obviously, we don't need to talk about the elephant in the room. I'm not going to. I'm going with Martin McDonagh for Banshees. We've been saying for a long time that there's going to be a potential director screenplay split. I don't see them going as much as everybody think they're going to. I think they're going to give McDonagh his flowers and let the hacks get director.
It's believable because, like we were saying, because it all, assuming we're all saying the same thing, it would all need to match up with Everything Everywhere All at Once getting picture. And the only thing that would need to happen for sure for that to happen would be them winning director. And for the fact that they are the shoo-ins for director means that is safe, and anything else could happen.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is why McDonagh is totally believable.
That's why I'm going to go with it. And I have to say enough of the other thing in a little bit anyway. Top Hat says Banshees for a while. I had it, but I didn't think it would leave empty-handed. And I remember the Oscars have done it before, so everything it is. Brian says if there's one thing, the only picture nominee we know for a fact that will go home empty-handed is Triangle of Sadness. Yeah. We'll get there. All right. Let's move on to acting.
Holy shit. This goddamn category has haunted us all the way to the very last minute. From the first video we did to this one, this category has been a nightmare.
If you go back to watch the original progression we've had since August, it's almost never been the same.
Yeah.
Talk Best Supporting Actress, AJ.
Actually, it perfectly ties into what I'm going to say, what you just said. Oh, well, almost. For Supporting Actress, We have Angela Bassett for Black Panther, Hong Chow for The Whale, Carrie Condon for Banshees, and Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Hsu for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Every time Jamie Lee Curtis's name was said at SAG, the room exploded.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when she won, which is worth noting. There was a whole lot of warmth for Angela Bassett when she won the 2 big awards that are not voted on by Oscar voters.
Yeah.
And as Carey Mulligan sits in recovery, Carrie Condon won the BAFTA.
Hate all of you people, and that's a shoot.
And just to really confuse things, although it's not technically relevant to the conversation, the Satellite Awards went with Claire Foy for Women Talking.
Somebody that was also in the talks for a while. Until she wasn't.
So, Owen, you were talking about the progression this category's had.
Yeah.
We are looking at. There's one name here I feel like has been the most consistent
Since August.
through the season.
Correct.
Somebody, I paused because I didn't say her right away, but once I started saying her, I never walked away from her. She always seemed like the most locked to be nominated.
Same here.
And sure enough, despite this insane category, she kept that. She is here. I've been saying it would be weird to me if Bassett won for that performance.
Mm.
I don't see a world where the Academy is ready to give an Oscar to a performance in a Marvel movie.
Nope.
So I immediately narrowed it down to Condon and Curtis.
Same here.
So it's SAG versus BAFTA, which is what every race is because SAG and BAFTA did not match at all.
Nope.
So I feel like I had a big drawn out reason for why I did this, but now I can't even think of what it is. Well, I guess it's just in general. When I said back in the day, I would have said when in doubt, go with SAG. When in doubt, go with SAG has kind of slowly and quietly turned into when in doubt, go with BAFTA.
Mm-hmm.
Really confusing time. I'm going to go with BAFTA, and I'm going to say Carrie Condon. With caution.
Actually.
Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I feel I've done enough predictions that aren't AJ's to cover my ass, so we're both going down with the ship if Kerry Condon doesn't win.
So it's weird because once AJ has said the same thing I would say right now. Once we started on the Condon train, we kept it. We always kept Carrie Condon in the back pocket. And BAFTA came through. Curtis winning SAG, which gave me a much needed point that I needed in the contest that doesn't matter anymore, at least to me, was appreciated. And the fact that she got one of the biggest pops of the night in that entire venue, to say the least. I said this Angela Bassett thing dies, and it has. I don't see it going to the Oscar. Hong Chow was never in the race here. And I think Stephanie Hsu will probably get her time in the sun down the line, but this isn't the year either. It was always going to be a 2-horse race, and I might as well go with the horse that brought me to the dance in the first place, Carrie Condon for Banshees. But what chat said real quick. Let's see. Parson and Burger says Curtis. Brian, supporting actress. Hong Chow for The Whale. Condon for Banshees. Dolly DeLeon for Triangle. Stephanie Hsu for Everything. And Amy Lou Wood for Living. Nice. I like that. Parson and Burger says Academy doesn't like Marvel for acting. If Chadwick couldn't get it, Bassett won't. Top Hat saying a surprise is due somewhere, so screw it. I'm going down with the ship. Hsu for the win. And Brian says, I really, when look back at my nomination predictions for supporting actress, I've been predicting Shu all year to get nominated. Hail Mary sometimes pan out. Not always. But they do.
Yeah, talk to Marcia Gay Harden.
Yeah. Can we get the easiest thing of the entire night out of the way, please?
All right. For supporting actor, we have Brendan Gleeson for Banshees, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Judd Hirsch for The Fablemans, Barry Keoghan for Banshees, and Ki Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once. You're my boy, Barry Keoghan. You really are.
Thank you, BAFTA.
But BAFTA was a one-off. This is obviously Ki Kwan.
Ashley.
Yeah, I have to go with Ki Kwan as well, but I really hope we see more of Barry at these awards. Hopefully,
sure we will.
He doesn't go down the wrong path and get the bad projects or whatever.
Well, I will say that if you go back to our actual predictions before nomination morning, AJ nailed Best Supporting Actor. With calling Brian Tyree Henry and Judd Hirsch. Paul Dano got screwed 100% in every way possible this year. And I remember a day when Brendan Gleeson was going to win this thing. Seems so long ago, doesn't it? BAFTA really came through for me this year. But it was the only time it did. But it won't repeat. Ki Kwan. This is probably your biggest, if you want to bet the world on it, please do. But you're going to win next to nothing because everybody's doing the same thing. Because your odds are terrible, especially because you're not going to win any money because everybody's predicting Ki Kwan to win.
I think Barry will be voted for... I'm predicting it now. Barry could be in there for 12 months' time. For Emerald Fennell Saltburn.
Possible. Well, what? Hold on. Supporting actor is Kwan, says Parsonenberger. Supporting actor for Brian, his predictions. Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway. Keoghan for Banshees. Wagner Mora for Puss in Boots. Interesting. Brad Pitt for Babylon. That's another person I stuck with until it was almost over. Miles Teller for Top Gun Maverick. Brian has been saying Brian Tyree Henry since September. You have. It's true. Parsonenberger says, when in doubt, go with Gold Derby.
Not always.
Interesting. I want to win. If I win on who should win, then there would be different nominations, different winners. Birdman would have never existed. Kwan would be world destroying. Losing would be world destroying, says Top Hat. No.
To his credit, I think Parsonenberger was kidding about Gold Derby.
Yeah, I'm sure he was.
I hope. Are we ready for actress?
Yeah, speaking of 2 horse races, let's go.
Cool. For actress, we have Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde, Andrea Riseborough for To Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fablemans, and Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once. I'm genuinely not counting out Riseborough, honestly.
She has a lot of popular friends, apparently. People with a lot of pull.
With that said, let's get to the Blanchett Yeoh race. I said at the start that I thought, regardless of what happened, Yeoh would end up at the Oscar.
Yeah.
Somewhere along the way, I changed my mind.
Yes, you did.
But I feel like I've come back around. The momentum for Yeoh is just in the right place right now. Like, her wins have fallen just right in line with pushing her right in there, which means I'm sending Tar home empty-handed, which I didn't really think about, but afterwards I realized that what I did. So I'm gonna say Yeoh.
Ashley.
I'm trying to work out with the Oscar votes whether the people that are nominated can vote for themselves. Because even if they could, I still think Cate Blanchett would vote for Andrea Riseborough because that's the way it works.
Remember, remember how happy Blanchett looked when Marion Cotillard beat her in 2007? She seems really genuine about who she roots for.
Yeah. Um, I'm gonna go with Yo. Um, I think that's sort of the, to be sort of fair, the better performance of the two. Because there's a lot that her character has to deal with through that thing, even if you don't like the thing. Hi, Owen. Um, there's a lot more depth to her, I feel, than Blanchett, and like way more than the other ones. Williams, I felt, was a little too superficial. I don't know whether that was Kushner's writing of it. Um, Blonde shouldn't be here, and
Danielle Deadweiler and Viola Davis.
that's what I wanted to bring up. Satellite Awards actually acknowledged Deadweiler. They went with
That's
her.
about freaking time.
I was going to say, you're going to suddenly like the Satellite Awards. But yeah, I'm going to go with Yo.
Hold on. Brian says actress Rosalie Chang for Turning Red, Catherine Clinch for The Quiet Girl, Frankie Corio for After Sun, Charlie Dean for Triangle of Sadness, Nader Riseborough for To Leslie. Parsnip Burger says Michelle. Peach Stag is why she's winning now. Brian says if I hear last minute votes for Riseborough, I would be worried, but we all felt that last year with Penelope Cruz and it didn't happen. Parsnip Burger says it's a chance for Academy to make history, picking the first Asian actress to win. And Brian says, if I'm correct, I believe I heard Blanchett had beat de Havilland's record for the most appearances in a Best Picture nominated movie.
I don't remember anybody saying that about Penelope Cruz.
Williams is my personal answer. I'm still butthurt about Deadweiler. If I had to pick between the two performances, I'd go Blanchett. But I can't. It's Yo.
I will reiterate on something that I said before, which was I had watched the first half of To Leslie and I was kind of cynical because I said if you've seen one addiction performance, you've kind of seen them all.
Mm-hmm.
But when I restarted, when you watch that whole movie and you see the full trajectory, she is very, very good in it and does deserve this nom, I think. So like when you realize that the whole movie is about her and her son, it comes together much more.
Well, then we'll just take the arm.
Yeah, but it really stuck to me. The way To Leslie sticks the landing is what really helps it. Are we ready for actor? We're almost done because the last two categories are probably going to happen pretty quickly. I honestly don't have much to add here from what I've already said in past videos. So, for actor, we've got Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for Banshees, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nye for Living. A great lineup. So, the thing that I abandoned was I had said before, whoever wins actor, that'll be where makeup ends up. I've changed that. I said The Whale for makeup. And the thing I said before also was with BAFTA and SAG not matching at all, I ended up going with 2 SAG winners and 2 BAFTA winners. So by the math, I'm going with Austin Butler. And what I was saying before in the SAG video, the thing that finally put me over the edge was not only is Elvis just clearly more loved than The Whale, that's just one thing, but I said Jessica Chastain said at that roundtable that there's like 100,000 SAG voters or something. And so a lot of SAG voters are not Oscar voters. The Oscar voters at SAG were in the room at the SAG Awards. And the sound of the crowd, the sound of the room at SAG gave away a lot of winners. you could tell who was getting what by the sound in the room.
Right.
And like I said, the thing I always go back to is I knew that Parasite was winning Best Picture at the Oscars when they got their standing ovation at SAG. It just felt like it said everything. If I'm
Well,
No.
tension mounting.
but you hear me.
Yeah, it froze up.
When they were playing the Best Actor clips at SAG, I think Butler got a bigger reaction than Fraser did, if you listen. And that's a room of Academy voters. A lot of the SAG voters that voted for Fraser are probably not Academy voters because there's so many fucking SAG members. It could still 100% totally believably be Fraser, but I'm saying Butler.
Ashley.
I'm gonna stick with Fraser. I think there's enough of a redemption story there. This is gonna sort of be the year of Hollywood being accountable for their previous misgivings, I would say. You know, the way that Kwan and Yo were sort of blackballed, and certainly by what happened to Fraser that sort of left him in the lurch for so long, and then pulls out a performance like this, which I personally didn't think he had in it, because I didn't think he was up for doing sort of dramatic stuff, and then he does a really good job in sort of what does go off the rails sometimes, but that's an Aronofsky film, it's gonna go off the rails. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Fraser.
Brian says forgot to mention how we all thought Banshees was adapted, and if it was now, Banshees would have won. We'll never know. And if Williams was supporting, as she or should have been, would she have swept?
I've rewatched The Fabelmans. I think Williams is leading.
Overall, I'd say so.
Yeah.
Parsnip Burger saying Butler. Parsnip Burger also says The Whale was not good. That's why Brendan is losing, even if he has a good performance.
Elvis is not good either, man. I'm telling you.
Well, that's wrong, but that's okay. Actor was tough for me to predict when I was filming because it was the only category I had the most difficulty to predict, yes. Top Hat says Yo and Fraser. Brian's a personal lineup. He just loves this whole, animated nominees. Banderas, Puss in Boots.
Nice.
Tom Cruise, Harris Dixon for Triangle, Farrell for Banshees, and Gabriel LaBelle for Fabelmans. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, Harris Dickinson's a really inspired choice too. I like that.
I have been sticking on the Austin Butler train since August, and I feel that I'm going to finally get justification for all of this. It seemed for a while that Fraser would have it. I thought Farrell was in this. That was proven to be false when he even lost the BAFTA. So, which we all thought he was going to win. None of us went with Butler for BAFTA. Parsnip Burger says, "Oh, AJ, I don't like Elvis either. It was better than The Whale." Justification for the last time in this video. Austin Butler for Elvis. Let's get this out of the way, please.
Time to wrap up. Here we go.
Let's end this. There's no reason to even elaborate. There's no reason to say anything else.
Yeah. For director, we've got Martin McDonough for Banshees, the Daniels for Everything Ever All at Once, Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Olsen for Triangle of Sadness. Is there anybody that thinks this is a race?
It should be.
Yeah.
Well, just for clarification, I am saying the Daniels.
Ashley.
I'm going to say Daniels as well.
I hate that cutesy name. We're going to stop it, and I'm going to kill it right now. I'm going to go with KS.
Quan Scheinert.
Yep. I think KS fits their hackiness, so that's what we're going to go with. The answer should be McDonough or Spielberg, but it's not going to be.
I thought Shiner at the Independent Spirits was channeling his inner Moo. I only say that because of what Danhausen was wearing last night on the
Danhausen
pre-show.
wearing the Simpsons movie at Revolution. Yeah, that was fun. So that's the winner for director. I'm not using best for anything on this. Brian says, which of the picture nominees this year that didn't get director was the best? Berger, Cameron, Lerman, Kaczynski, or Pauly?
For me personally, I'd say Kaczynski. For me,
I'd say Lerman. I'm a mark though, so sorry. But I like everybody in that lineup except for Berger and take a shot. Except for Cameron and Pauly.
What I love about Austin is he has such a unique and recognizable look, but I can't put my finger on what it is. All I know is I was watching Triangle of Sadness and I thought, this is 100% the guy that made the square. And I could not tell you why, but you can just tell. There's just a vibe. And I love that. I love when directors can do that. Just have a style that you can't even put your finger on, but is so recognizable.
Parsnip Burger says picture for everything. Director, same thing. Brian's personal lineup: Cameron, Chazelle, McDonough, Kaczynski, Osland.
Oh, and that's what me and you were saying, where this year is so interesting because regardless of what we know about the race right now, if you swapped out the 5 directors that got in for the other 5 directors of the picture nominees, it doesn't look weird.
No.
It's like, yeah, that would also be a believable lineup, actually.
I would like that lineup. Well, no, because Cameron's in there. And I don't want him in there. Parsnip Burger's All Quiet is my personal choice for picture and director, but director wasn't nominated, but everything will win both. Speaking of picture.
Here we go. All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar, Banshees, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fablemans, and Women Talking.
For clarification, because AJ's internet blocked out, there's also Tar, Top Gun, Maverick, and Triangle of Sadness. And Women Talking.
I heard you talking about it. Great story.
So I wouldn't have said this before BAFTA, but after BAFTA, if anything is going to shockingly dethrone Everything Everywhere All at Once, I'm going to guess it's All Quiet on the Western Front. But I don't think that's going to happen. I'm saying Everything Everywhere All at Once, of course.
Ashley.
Yeah.
Brian's Best Picture lineup: After Sun, Avatar, Babylon, Banshees, Causeway, House Made of Splinters, Marcel, Puss in Boots. Not surprised with all the nominations you gave it, Brian, that it's in the picture lineup. Maverick and Triangle of Sadness. This should be a lot more of a competition. Honestly, if you want to have a movie that should be taking it down, it should be Banshees. But All Quiet did so well at BAFTA. AJ's right. Again, to the surprise of no one. And I would be okay with that. But there would be a lot of television on Sunday. That's for damn sure. You're about to say something.
The way you can look at it, because I don't think anybody's not saying Everything Everywhere All at Once, but if you wanted to say All Quiet on the Western Front, number one, the Academy loves their war movies. The Academy loves their war movies so much, they went ahead and nominated Mel Gibson for Hacksaw Ridge. That's how much they love war movies.
Yes.
And the foreign barrier was broken by Parasite, so that doesn't even matter anymore.
Right.
So, just throwing that out there.
Spencer for his 9 that I forgot to mention from earlier. Editing, he gives to Everything Everywhere. Supporting actress to Condon, supporting actor to Ki Kwan. Adapted to All Quiet, original to Everything Everywhere. Actress to Riseborough for To Leslie. Actor goes to Butler for Elvis. And then Daniels get director. And All Quiet on the Western Front for Best Picture. And just because it needs to be said again, Pacific Heights and Frailty get an honorary picture. As they will every year.
I don't even need to say it, and I'm not going to. You know the picture winner. It's not the right answer, but it's the answer they're going with.
The great thing is, from next week, we can just go, why is John Wick 4 170 minutes long?
That's the trailer I got to see tonight on All Quiet on the Western Front.
Oh, sorry, 169 minutes. I was 1 minute out.
Let's just say, so I don't have to say it, and I'm not going to say it because it doesn't need to be said. I agree with AJ and Ashley. Not me personally, but for prediction's sake. Which of these personal predictions will be correct, says Brian? Which movies are going to be overrated? We'll see for my marathon. Will I get a masterpiece this year like No Time to Die last year? None for 2020. All Quiet, Banshees, Fablemans, Top Gun.
Well, he and I usually disagree, so he's probably going to hate Top Gun and the Fablemans.
No. 100% no. I'll get there in a minute. Top Hat says, I like The Front Runner as a movie that came out in the first half of last year instead of the November time frame. Yeah, sure. Parsnip Burger says, you know what I find odd? Knowing you this long, it seems like everything is the type of film you would have liked. I think you just had a bad experience. I had 2 bad experiences, Parsnip Burger. I still hold out that I understand it. It's not my cup of tea. And I can quote Aziz right now, but there's comedy for me is still comedy, but I'm not going to. I mean, just because I hate the movie doesn't mean that I don't understand why people love it. If I would have had a showing by myself in a theater where there was no one around, no marks trying to influence my decision, laughing at things that were not funny, and I could just focus completely, maybe it'd have been a different experience. But I think AJ, knowing me long enough, knows that this was not a movie I was going to like.
I don't know. I don't know.
Maybe I would have liked it back in the day, like we were all bombing out at the old place, like when everybody used to hang out there, like it was a giant hangout zone. It might have been my speed back then, but I doubt it. I don't know. Just 2023 me does not like this movie, and neither did 2022 me.
We might have some things to keep you happy, though, in the bits in between, though, Owen. Because the first list of the presenters has been revealed.
And I see DJs on that list.
Yeah, in alphabetical order, we've got Riz Ahmed, Emily Blunt, Glenn Close, Jennifer Connelly, Ariana DeBose, Samuel L., Dwayne Dwayne, Michael B. Jordan, Troy Kotzer, Jonathan Majors. I wouldn't be surprised if it was probably him and Jordan together because of how well Creed's done over the last week. Melissa McCarthy, please don't do costume. Don't try and do cats, for the love of shit. Janelle Monáe, Deepika Padukone, Questlove, Zoe Saldana, and Donnie Yen. Maybe there'll be a John Wick thing. Who
What?
knows?
Jen.
Uh-oh.
Say it again.
Question.
There we go.
The question is, who's presenting actress?
The world may never know.
Maybe Samuel L.
I'll find out Sunday. That's your show. That's almost your season. Ashley and AJ are fighting to the death when it comes to this competition. That is between them now, so should be interesting to see because we kind of split a lot as a whole, but we also kind of picked the same things in a lot of things too. Most of the obvious ones everybody went with, but there were some Hail Marys thrown out there, so we'll see if they pan out.
I don't think there's any category here where two of us didn't say the same thing, which might be a first.
Yeah. Well, as boring as this awards season gets in some categories, it's been extremely like hyperactive in other categories.
True.
So if anything, as much as I've hated this award season for what's going to happen on Sunday, there's a lot of things I can give it credit for. Some very inspired nominations of things that I'm glad that actually got into the race. The fact that the Batman is nominated for anything makes me happy. I wish Nope would have got something. It got completely screwed.
I'm kind of glad the nominations forced me to watch Triangle of Sadness because I actually do really like it. But if it hadn't gotten that picture nomination, I'd probably would have been 60 years old before I saw it.
It's weird because I didn't watch it based on the fact that it was going to potentially get nominated. I just watched it because it was a movie. And sometimes I'll get that idea that I should watch something.
Were you swayed by it being the Palm winner, maybe?
Maybe slightly, but the Woody Harrelson stuff in the trailer was fine. Parson and Berger asked any movies to look ahead for the end of next year.
Ever since COVID time, I don't even look at schedules anymore because I got so jaded by planning for things and then everything getting pushed. I just stopped looking because nothing keeps their date anymore.
I think Air looks great. And I am looking forward to Asteroid City. I'm looking forward to Barbie. I guess that's my bias again.
Yeah.
We've also got David Fincher's new Netflix film with Fassbender.
Yeah, if that gets a theatrical run, if it gets run for something, then I'll get to see it.
And an Andrew Kevin Walker script on that as well.
Fincher makes me excited about that. Fassbender makes me hesitant.
He hasn't been the most reliable in the last 10, 15 years.
He's too
Brian
busy
said,
doing his long distance driving racing career. He wants to be Steve McQueen. in a film career that started from a film directed by Steve McQueen, but not that.
Oh my God!
I think that's a great way to end the show. Brian said Glenn Close for pictures. That's his guess. I think supporting actor will be the first category. Bradley Cooper's Maestro. Will those show up in award season? Says Parsnip Burger's Wicked coming out. Dune. Yeah, I think Wicked's going to clean up on the Bourne Awards. Like the costume design, production design. I think it'll do really well. We'll see, though. That's a whole different conversation to have. We've already gone a bit, so thanks everyone for joining us tonight. Tomorrow, if you want to be inclined to join us, my pick of Popcast Movie Club, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, back to our normal time, will be The Great White Hype. We're continuing the love of boxing on this network, and also the love for Peter Berg movies.
Yeah.
Yes, that's coming your way. And next week, of course, we got the Oscars on Sunday. Then we got one last QA show on Monday. And then, again, seems like you've been paying attention, and we appreciate it. May 1st, the most unique QA show we've ever done. 10 years of Popcast Network. wonder what you guys and girls are going to ask us, honestly. Brian says good night. Top Hat says great show, everyone. Thank you to our live chat as always. Thank you, everyone in archive. And Ashley can be found on Twitter at Ashly'sMyNameUK. His content forthcoming in the future. AJ, of course, just like Keith Richards, cannot be killed by conventional weapons and also cannot be found on any form of social media. But if you want to leave a comment, you're more than welcome to do so. Show up May 1st, ask him things. And if you've got any ideas for Sip and Snack or Verses or any of the other segments, you can leave a comment based on that as well. The English got wrapped up. We got Santa Claus is coming up. And yes, 2023 movies are coming to Popcast Network very soon. Get ready. Get ready. Get hyped. I got a ton of Sip and Snacks coming your way as soon as the floodgates open. I apologize to all the Twitter followers of @Sir and Disney. You're going to get a plethora as soon as we drop these last 3 videos of Santa Clauses. And ton of Voices content is coming your way, so get ready for that. Parsnip says, I have 7 questions so far, majority for AJ.
Oh, no.
That's your show, everyone. Coming up on the 10th is going to be Brainwash, finally coming out from water parks. Can't wait for that. Stream all your water parks content while you're at it. And if you haven't listened to them, what's taking you so long? Do it. They're the next big thing. In the meantime, I want to thank you guys and girls out there for watching. And until tomorrow, boys and girls, that's all we got to say about that.